Yeah,
Bill Burr has entered the studio.
Billy.
What's up, Bill?
It was funny. I just come walking in. You guys are dead silent because you're listening to the
Oh,
creepy,
yeah.
right? And I just hear you just go, "Oh, shut up!" I'm like, "All right, the Opie and Anthony show."
That's usually the show.
Here we are.
Here we go. Shut up.
Another 4 hours of love. What's up, guys? What's up, Jimmy?
Hi, Bill.
How are you, sir?
We're playing clips from Piers Morgan. Jesse Ventura was on. And I don't know. Is it worth playing these clips, Ant? That one was whatever.
Anybody make fun of his Ben Franklin haircut?
That is amazing, isn't it?
He's bringing it back.
He goes out like that.
It's about time we bring back the Ben Franklin.
When he was the governor, he shaved his head to try to look, kind of
clean cut,
stately. Now he's just figured, fuck it. He's growing that. It's like 8 pieces of straw sticking out of the back of his head.
Really is the Wild Bill Cody.
Yes. After he was scalped.
Want to try another clip? Which
would help to pre-screen these.
Well, yeah.
I can give you a title. Of
I think
clip.
you just
Our guys are really good at pre-screening clips. They really are good.
Who are?
The guys are.
Which guys?
Shut up.
How about politics is based on bribery? That sounds controversial.
Bribery.
But you know what? I would agree with him.
Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
I would agree with him.
That sounds logical.
He's being logical. Well, let's play it.
okay.
Is it long though? Like that last clip was long.
What's his 9/11 clip? I mean,
I want to hear that one.
Yeah. Go straight to 9/11.
Yeah.
Let's go to his 9/11 clip and see
this
if
one
he's
probably
still
makes
crazy.
sense.
See
This
if
one
he's
will
still
make
a little
sense,
crazy
too.
with this 9/11 clip.
Yeah, politics based on bribery. We agree with that, and 9/11 being an inside job. We absolutely, obviously, on this show agree with that.
Oh yeah,
we do agree with
yes,
that.
the government was behind it. Yes, I forgot. I didn't realize where we were going.
Yeah.
Come on, so smart.
Oh, see,
good.
another
Another
commercial
commercial.
because I don't have the clips in front of me, Sam.
You don't have.
I blame you today.
Why? Because I'm the guy in the room.
Well, show kind of ran smoothly yesterday, and you're back today, and things are a little miss.
Sam Roberts.
Sounds like it's my fault.
The hopper.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Jesse, what would you have done on September the 12th, 2001? What would you have done if you'd been president?
What would I have done?
Yeah.
I would have done a legitimate investigation to find out what exactly happened on 9/11. How did they know who did this so quickly like they did Lee Harvey Oswald? How quick they knew Lee Harvey Oswald killed Kennedy.
Because the people who did it were identified and we knew who they were.
Well, then why couldn't we have stopped them beforehand if they were identified and we knew who they were?
It was a failure of intelligence. Everyone's accepted
No, it
that.
wasn't. We knew before with Condoleezza Rice's memo on August 6th when it stated right in the memo, bin Laden took steal planes and run them into buildings. And more stuff is coming out now also, how much the Bush administration ignored the intelligence. It was almost like they ignored it because they wanted it to happen.
I ignore intelligence.
No, now it'll come off. Wait a minute.
That's too many people applauding.
Didn't he get? But that's more of a hatred of Bush than an agreement of him. And didn't he get mad at me when I said something about how he's blaming Bush? He goes, "You don't put fucking words in my mouth."
Ooh, he did curse.
He did curse at me. He said, "Don't." And then here he is saying that Bush purposefully ignored intelligence. So isn't that the same thing? So he yelled at me for saying that to him.
How do we know for sure he ignored that intelligence? How do we know?
You don't.
He's just asking
or was it
questions.
more like he was trying to figure out, all right, what the fuck do I do with this
It all
intelligence?
comes together in hindsight. Yeah. You know, you could look at the intelligence and go, wow, that absolutely adds up to 9/11 and people flying planes into the building on September 11th. And But when they're all in pieces and you're getting dribs and drabs, as they say, it's a little harder to put together before the fact.
They handled it
His
terribly.
shirt gives him 100% credibility in my work.
What is he wearing?
That Doug Henning shirt.
He does have some kind of a sparkly.
He's going
colorful.
old school.
Yeah.
With
I
that,
think
He's the magician and the assistant all at the same time.
that shirt would look great under a black light, man. That would light up nice.
I think it's a Hendrix shirt.
A Hendrix shirt?
What do you mean, really?
I think so.
With that Hendrix face?
Carefully picked out for
Nice.
this interview.
But then he has the blazer.
Of course.
I'm casual, but also take me a little serious.
No, he's on the inside.
Yes.
Haven't forgot my roots.
A minute. Every war fought starts with a false flag operation.
Can't, in all seriousness, sit there and try and make out anybody. in the
Okay,
Bush
let me ask
administration
you this,
wanted
Piers.
it
Wait
to
a minute.
happen.
Let
That's
me
a ridiculous thing to say.
Let me ask you something. How much studying have you actually done of 9/11 other
on
than
YouTube.
what the government's told you and what mainstream media
A lot,
has told
actually.
you?
I've
been studying it 4 years.
Of a national
Pause right there. 4 years?
4 years.
So what were you doing for the first 7, Navy SEAL?
Yeah.
What were you busy until
I've been
2008?
studying for 4 years.
I've been studying for 4 years. The first 7, I didn't know what to do.
I'm going to start looking into this.
2008.
Yeah, what is it?
Fucking blithering idiot. I understand he's working on something for the Civil War next. What a fool.
Another false flag operation.
I'm actually just amazed that he can keep just arguing. Like when you say shit like this, you're saying, "Hey, I want to argue for 45 minutes."
Yes.
Every person.
Yes.
And then you got to get to that point. Well, I think this happened. Then I think that. Then he immediately goes to, well, wait a minute. You're already starting to yell. Just fucking go get yourself
The voice
get a
gets
soda.
louder.
Just fucking relax. Do you really want to do this?
You're right.
Do you
It's a
think, like,
commitment
doing
now.
this now, and then like the Bush administration's going to come out, and just be all right.
Yeah, he got
Like
us.
Lance Armstrong, after fuck it. I don't want to deal with this anymore.
Yeah, fuck it. You're right.
You got us.
Well, that's
You're
what
right.
his supporters say. He just didn't want to fight it anymore.
Right.
Who would give up all their titles like that? Shut up.
Nobody.
Nobody.
Yeah, but then there's the other side, too, where it's like they tested that guy, he passed all of them.
Right.
How, 10 years later, can one guy be like, well, I saw him do it, and then you're done?
And then you're like, all right.
Well, why would he not fight that?
Listen, Opie, everybody in the top
for his
fucking
legacy.
20, everybody in the top 20 is tested positive.
That's
so
what they
at
said.
that point, it's a
They
it's
said
a level
everyone
playing
was doing
field.
it.
Yeah. It's level.
In
Our
that sport-
roided up guy beat your roided up guy 7 fucking times. He won the race.
It's a known fact in that
right.
sport, everyone was doing shit. Everybody.
You can't ride a bicycle 60 miles an hour up a mountain for a month straight. You can't at that speed. You see the old days, they had those little bikes and they were smoking cigarettes. It was a jaunt through the country.
Really? That's how the sport started?
Yeah. They got these old school pictures smoking
Really?
cigarettes
And then
and
some
stuff.
asshole decided to take it seriously. It was supposed to be just a nice,
like that
a
dude,
nice weekend.
Yeah,
of
when you
riding
play
in the
pickup
country.
football and that dude who shows up with cleats. That all leads to roids.
Oh, that's funny.
One guy wrecks it.
Yeah, let's go back to Jesse on 9/11.
Yeah, I have no problem with Lance. He's a champion in my world.
Yeah, fuck yeah. He'll always be a
He's
champion.
I've talked to
coming
people. Wait a
in
minute.
debt every day for
Really?
5-6 months.
Really?
So I know a lot about it.
Well,
And one
then
thing
how
I do
come?
know is
Let me ask you this
you
then.
cannot say that any member of the Bush administration knew it was going to happen or wanted it to happen. It's a ridiculous thing to say.
Ridiculous. Okay, let's talk about your BBC. I have a tape of a BBC reporter broadcasting directly back to England, talking about a third building has collapsed. World Trade Center Building 7 talks for 7 minutes.
Oh, no, here we go.
All the while she's talking, World Trade Center Building 7 is still standing right behind her.
Can you pause
It
this for 1
didn't
second,
fall.
Sam? So basically, he's putting it on the Bush administration that a person in the media did a bad job of reporting.
Right, which happens all
the time. They fucking say the wrong things.
Not a day goes by where we point that out on this show.
What is he saying here, though? What is he saying?
That the lady from the BBC was part of this inner circle.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Of this thing. Yeah. And, and at that point, you can still keep the secret.
Right. Some BBC broad.
What a surprise that a news person got something wrong. They probably saw a building fall down. They don't know the area that well. By the way, none of us actually knew what the building's names were at the time. Now we do know it's Building 7.
And they
all
probably
that.
said it looks like it's going to collapse.
Right. And then she sees the one collapse and goes,
Right.
oh, Building 7 has collapsed.
Well, she gave the news report first. What happens was they sent her the intel.
Right.
Like they were able to pull off hiding the people and hijacking the planes,
Christ,
but they
Jesse.
didn't realize you shouldn't give the intel before the building collapses.
Although I will say this, I don't get how that third one just sort of tapped out without really taking any sort of direct hit.
I
Was it
believe
lonely?
I believe it was there was a massive fire burning in the basement, and it just fucking barbecued the guts out
And
of
everything
it.
got-
and it just tipped
everything-
over.
I don't know about
and
that.
it was pretty damaged.
And
from
everything
the other
shook
building
pretty
falling.
good, too.
Yeah, it was more of a structural issue than a physical.
So a lot of papers caught on fire,
Lot
and
of
that
paper.
metal melted.
A lot of papers.
But why
I
would
think
they
the
have
third
to?
one fainted.
But why would they have to? Why would they have to take out a third building?
Listen,
because if you knew what was in the building, you wouldn't say something as stupid as that.
Why don't they just move what's in the building then?
Yeah,
just move it.
Just move it.
Just do it in the night. No one's looking.
Yeah. If you could do all this other shit.
If you could put explosives on every floor of the World Trade Center.
Just move it.
Move that info out of there.
Yeah.
Get it out of there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, he is just the worst.
Didn't a big piece of the other building fall on it too? Like, didn't the buildings collapse onto it?
When all that shit
that
is
makes
going
more
down.
sense to me than the
like it did
papers
structural
caught
damage.
on fire in the basement. You know what it is, Anthony? I think you and I, with our non-architectural degrees, should discuss this.
Structural integrity of buildings.
For another
the effects
45
of
minutes.
Heat and we could do that.
I don't know, man.
Uneducated and just discussing it like we know what we're talking about.
But a building fell on it and then it fell down.
Right.
That's it.
There you go. Like a child.
Yeah.
Explain it to them as if you were explaining it to a child.
Big building fall hits small building. Small building fall too.
Yes.
Small building.
I think it was the perfectness of how they fell, the way they imploded. That was the weird thing.
For you?
Yeah.
You have questions?
No, I don't, dude. I'm so beyond any of that crap. I was in that window like 3-4 years ago, and I just got tired of screaming over like appetizers at people I didn't know, and I was just like, I don't give a shit.
Let me ask you this though: how was it supposed to fall? You think?
How was it supposed to fall?
Yeah, do you feel like it?
You think that
like
it would,
a big chunk would have kind of
it would come down, and something like. I mean, there's a reason why they detonate it the way they do, so it doesn't, start, fall like a fucking tree and land on other. I don't know, dude. Like I said, I don't have any sort of architectural background, obviously, but it just seemed weird how they perfectly just went.
Hey, I would say this, and I don't think they did.
Down.
I will say this. I think if it was hit at the
say that because you're a moron. What are you talking about?
If they were hit at the bottom, if that kind of damage was done at the bottom of the building, I would say that once it lost its like
what's one of those words you need?
I need a word or something. I think it would have tipped over. I think it would have been more apt to tip over.
I think the heat just weakened the structure on that floor, the high beams, and then that was it.
When it's so high up, it starts falling, and then it's just falling in a straight line down on top of it. And you can see the second
Opie
one that
just
fell.
summed it up.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
The good.
You got to do sound
effects.
effects.
And then if you look at the second one, which was chopped a little more down. The top did tip over a little more.
Yeah, a little bit.
The top tipped over because it was taken out closer to the middle of the building, so there was more weight on top, and it did topple a little bit.
They've explained why. I've seen specials on why they fell the way they fell. It had something to do with the way they
was made by the government.
They were hinged on the fucking on the metal structure, so the metal buckled out.
Yeah,
it's kind of like rungs of a ladder falling through, and then the outside buckled out. It didn't all collapse. That's why a lot of those pieces came down straight. And the pieces in the middle kind of free fall because the outside walls buckled out. That was why it fell down.
If you drop something, it will fall straight down unless something interferes with its little momentum.
Had they double hinged those things, it comes down to they saved money when they fucking latched the floors onto the outside structure.
Oh, God damn it!
Not seeing this coming, but had they doubled it like was kind of recommended, they said it might not have
all
fallen.
the screws.
Pretty much that was it. Yeah, if they would have just hammered them all the way in.
Yes,
they left the nails halfway out to save
bend the nail over.
But I've seen it explain why.
Do you think it's outrageous that the government would allow things to happen for their benefit?
No, I don't think so.
No, I definitely.
That's the only part that I
look at the Gulf of Tonkin incident.
You'll look at the other way, thinking you're just going to take a sucker punch, take one of the ribs, and then you can be like, "Oh, what they just did? They just punched us in the ribs. Now let's go kick the shit out of them." Like I said, I've tapped out all of that.
Yeah, I wonder though. I think the government does allow certain things to happen for their benefit. They don't care about the individual.
I want to know why the president gets paid like the same as like an NBA ref.
Kidding.
I mean, talk about just opening up a guy.
You offer
to just sit there and get yelled at by the whole world, no matter what you do, and you're making like, what's he make, $300-400 grand a year?
If you offer,
this guy's running websites making more than the president. It's just not right.
If you raise that salary to $1 million, right off the bat, you're going to get better fucking qualified people going for it.
Oh, you make a guy less susceptible to being to being bribed. I would think. Although a lot of those guys who run are already million. Yeah,
they're all millionaires.
You're already a millionaire. So other than the ego trip of like, I don't want to sit in traffic for the next 4 to 8 years, like why else would you?
Is that a direct pay, you think, or does he have to go to the bank and cash his presidential paycheck?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think food is free too, so that 400 goes a lot farther. That's like 600 grand to the regular person.
And rent is free. Let's not forget the rent.
Yeah.
Free travel.
No mortgage.
Free clothes.
Guy doesn't pay for anything.
That is the worst fucking job you could ever have. And then you live in the White House, and every time you look out the window, as you just made another decision where they're going to be dropping bombs, you look out and there's like 400 tourists sitting there with their pictures. I don't ever want to be flanked because they know someone's going to maybe try to blow my head off. It's 400 grand a year. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Who really would
Why
want
would you
that
do
job?
that?
That's so
You're
funny.
right.
Because then you do the college gigs at the end where you make like $1 million a night. That's your golden parachute.
Once you lose the fucking gig, then you can make some money.
Right.
Yeah.
No, you're setting yourself up while you're in office.
Yeah.
Setting up all your buddies.
It's like going to college and then landing the big job.
Yeah.
Then you
then you buy
years.
a bunch of land down in South America that sits on aquifers.
What's that? I really don't know.
What is that? It has to do with there's only so much chicken and fresh water.
Yeah.
And everybody just keeps banging. It's going to hit a finite thing, and at some point, fresh water is going to be, people are going to be coming at you like zombies. You're going to be holding gold. This right here, dude, this is the next gold bar right here.
Fresh water, you think
Fresh
so?
water.
I mean, it's so easy to distill
I
an ocean, and we have like...
Yeah, and you know something? That nature doesn't need that ocean. We should drink it dry.
There's no way that could ever happen.
I don't think we're having any effect whatsoever on the planet. Whatsoever.
No, you can't get rid of the water. You can't get rid of it. Even if you're using it, it eventually finds its way back into the ocean. 75% of the world. You could take that, distill it, and drink it, and
yeah, once
have
again,
fresh
I mean,
water.
This man's amazing. He goes from architectural. Right now, he's in the sea. He's he's like all the Super Friends combined.
Well, then how do you know that it hurts the sea?
The same way you can't have the deer population get out of control because it affects us. This is the thing. If any species goes over the balance it's supposed to be, and has some sort of effect.
Right.
I'm not saying we're the reason the polar ice caps are melting. I know, but you have a fucking effect.
I think you're right, but the water thing has nothing to do with it. I don't like the idea that this planet's populated with a bunch of fucking filthy animals.
I used to do a bit how, deers don't drive SUVs. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're way overpopulated, and we're doing all that other shit, nuclear waste, plastics that don't biodegrade ever.
Good shit.
But we're saying that the deer
You're just sticking it in the ground and shit, and it's just like.
But Bill, we're saying the deer are the problem. That's what's hilarious.
Yeah, the deer are the problem.
There should be a disease on humans.
Because the deer's gonna, curb us down.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it has to happen.
Because it's a hassle to hit one of them every once in a while. We got to calm down the deer population.
Yeah,
it is ridiculous when you think about it.
We'll never run out of water. Never. Oh, that's the thing.
You make me feel so much comfort. The morning shock jock is telling me about the water supply.
I love how you discount me on everything I say.
Because I'm a fucking moron too. Okay,
75% of the planet has water on it.
It's the like definitive way.
Yeah.
We're gonna be okay.
But it's like saying the sun isn't gonna burn out today. You'd be like, well, Jesus Christ, it could burn out.
It could.
It could burn out. All right, it could.
No,
but odds are it's not going to.
You see what he does?
No, what did I do?
You just made a fucking halfway decent speculation into something absolutely ridiculous.
We have a planet full of water. There's more water than land.
Made out of cheese.
There's a lot
I can
more.
do it too.
There's a lot more water on this planet than there ever was fossil fuel, and we're still using that.
Dumb as I am, shut your face. But I don't want to hear your stupid
arguing
theories.
your dumb argument with my dumb argument.
I will say though, we're going to drink up the ocean is a hard one to sell.
Exactly.
I think the ocean.
I don't
will make
literally
it.
mean that. I don't literally mean that.
I think we're going to be okay.
I'm just okay. So. Well, this fish actually getting skin cancer at this point.
They should go deeper.
Go.
They're fucking tanning.
Exactly. You got the whole ocean. Fucking move.
Get deeper.
Yeah, dumb fish.
They're fucking tanning.
Because they're fucking sitting next to your rollerblades that you threw out
Well,
9 years ago.
They should know better.
Yeah,
if you see a big tank with a skull on it, don't swim up and fucking nibble at it. Buzz off.
Yeah, they're not tied down to a job. They can move. They can move to wherever they want.
Exactly. No one's making the fish stay. There's no zoning law.
They don't have to worry about a mortgage.
Adjust to us.
Yeah.
Let's play the rest of the Jesse clip, please.
Their half hour, yet they were doing a pre-broadcast back to England that, yes, it's true,
you need to
that
take a
this
break
building fell and it hadn't fallen yet.
If you're trying to make out the British Broadcasting Company, one of the most respected news organisations in the world, was inventing huge buildings falling over, you need to have a break, Jesse.
Thank you, Piers.
And we'll talk about Israel.
No, he's not kidding you. They fucked up that day. Period.
Well, they said the wrong. They mentioned the wrong building name.
They
got to him as credible,
guys.
Because
he's a wrestler. Okay, can we just fucking move on?
He was a governor, though. He was that close to the presidency.
Yeah. I love how Bill doesn't. Bill needs, like, if you're talking about rockets, you need to be a rocket scientist, or Bill won't even listen to you.
Yes, to a certain point.
Yeah, I agree with Bill. I agree with you, Bill, on that. But he was a governor.
Can I discuss the weather? If I'm not a meteorologist,
he was a wrestler.
Yeah.
How did Schwarzenegger become governor? Because he was an action hero.
That shouldn't happen.
But then they spout off their little ideas, and people leap at him.
Reagan was an actor.
Reagan was an actor.
Yeah.
I don't know what George Bush was. He was the son of the guy.
He was a good football player.
First Bush or second Bush?
Get him in there.
Huh?
Give him a shot.
Yeah, he was a good football player. We all know that. Harvard was it or Yale?
Yale. He was a C student.
Yeah, of course he didn't go to Harvard.
My favorite election was 2004. I know I've said this before. When your choices were two white guys who both went to Yale and were members of the Skull and Bones. Okay, which one do you want?
But anyone could become president.
Is funny, man.
Anyone could become president.
It's almost like they were trying to. If there is anything going on, like that was the year that they were trying to get caught.
That was. It's got to be exhausting being Bill Burr.
No, but that's.
Do you just sit at home with
though.
all that shit going through your head?
Wait a minute,
they're looking.
dude. This guy, I have more fun just mocking Anthony's tweets. When you tweet, do you have like a 2x4 in one hand as your thumb is going? He writes all this stuff like, "Hey Obama, have fun at your fundraiser today. Meanwhile, this is going on now," and it's like capital letters, and it shows like a burning embassy.
Yeah,
this is what he's doing. And he's actually saying to me, "God, it's got to be so taxing to be." He's trying to solve the world's problems over Twitter.
I'm just
78 characters or less.
I'm just throwing in my 140 characters of opinion. Out there. I'm not trying to change the world, that's for sure. And I like riling people up, okay? I like when people start tweeting back and they're all angry. It's fun. Twitter's a hobby.
Come on,
fun.
Anthony.
What?
Come on.
What's the matter?
Be honest. You froth at the mouth while you tweet.
Oh yeah. Occasionally I do,
you do.
But for the most part, I'm sitting there.
This country is doomed.
I do like saying that the country is doomed.
If only everyone thought like me.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're a great guy. You're very live and let live.
Fucking
you have just a wonderful. If only everyone could be like you, Anthony.
Exactly.
Everything would work.
Oh, as opposed to a world of Bill Burrs out there.
Not at all. I don't tweet shit like that. I'm a fucking moron.
I'm not saying I have any.
The last book I read was about Larry Bird and Magic Johnson.
Nice.
I'm not saying I have any great intellect.
I was supposed to say how shallow I am, and Opie's just like, nice.
Nice, yeah.
I would read that book.
There's a feather on his cap. That's actually a great book.
I would read that one.
It was a great book.
We should take a break. Bill Burr is here. I don't think we have to sell Caroline's, right? That's got to be selling really well. But Thursday through Sunday at Caroline's, 212-757-4100 for Bill Burr. And we're going to continue. Oh, Mike Rowe is coming in today. We haven't seen him in a couple of years. Did we have an issue with the guy? What happened?
I don't think so.
That's you on Twitter right there. The guy with the hat.
That's Imus.
I know.
Oh,
yeah.
Jesus. Jesus, Bill.
Only everyone's like me.
What a treat. We got Bill Burr in studio today playing Caroline's this weekend starting Thursday through Sunday. You got to do the Sunday night show,
I thought
too?
you were going to say playing foil to Anthony. Isn't that a position on
That's pretty much it now, I think. No,
we used to scream at each other.
Yeah, we used to. Now I don't care enough anymore.
And older and wiser, Bill and Anthony.
212-757-4100 for Caroline's. I mean, these shows are going to sell out, so.
I'm going Friday.
Yeah, I'm going. I got to figure out what day for myself.
Yeah. and I'm hanging for both shows.
Well, that's the
And
thing.
we almost got a chance to hang out.
We almost hung out at Amy's party. Yeah, I was going down the elevator. He was going up.
You got there late, huh?
Yeah, I had just landed. I came in from Charlotte.
Did you walk into anything fun?
Joe took a pounding.
DeRosa was taking shit the entire time there, and people had left by the time you got there. Colin wasn't there; he was just shitting on Joe. Who else was there that was
He
really
had that
bashing
jean jacket on?
Bobby was
and I
killing
came
him.
over. I asked him why he was dressed like Lee Majors.
God, that's a good one.
Yeah, no, that started off a nice 20 minutes. He took it, though. He took it like a champ.
He took it the whole fucking night. Keith Robinson was there just trashing him.
We teased him so bad he actually took the jacket off. And then he had this awful mustard shirt, talking about DeRosa, mustard shirt on underneath it with this horrific not doing push-ups. Do you realize that day we lost like $50?
I still haven't paid you.
Joe,
I owe you money, I just realized.
Uh-oh.
For what? Oh, some sports thing.
What was our bet?
It was basketball, Sixers, Celtics.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever.
I didn't really want to
Don't
take
worry
that
about
bet.
it.
No, I'll give you your money.
That time when
when
we bet Joe about the push-ups, that was the smallest window. Like, you know, like the perfect entry the shuttle has to have or else it burns up. That was the one moment in Joe's life where he could actually do 20 push-ups because I saw him the other night.
He didn't do the push-ups. I lost the bet because my stupid judge doesn't know what a push-up is.
Well, that's
listen, I'm going to tell you.
I'll acknowledge I lost the money, but fuck.
Yeah, but Opie, if Joe did any sort of movement down towards the floor and back up again, for Joe, that's a push-up for Joe.
You don't have to judge him like he's a Marine. I mean, he's just a fucking...
Well, when it's a couple $100 on the line, yeah, I'm going to judge an official push-up, whatever that is.
DeRosa looks like an 8-year-old, like Andre the Giant.
Yeah,
you got the same body.
You got the Mitt Romney clip. Actually, that's we didn't play the Mitt Romney explaining the clip. You heard about this, right? Mitt Romney was taped.
Dude, I wouldn't know what that guy looked like if he walked by me.
Romney.
I don't watch any of it anymore.
He's done.
I think it's time to get America back to work. Like, who could sit there and watch that stupid?
But what got you finally? Because I'm sure you watched for a while. What was the tipping point for you?
I think it's just being in comedy. I don't like watching comedians who pander to the crowd.
Yeah,
Give yourselves a round of applause. I mean, I just feel like that's what they're doing the entire time.
So Romney was...
I think it's time to give tax cuts to the people that deserve them. I mean, that's going to be the easiest shit ever.
You would
easy
kill
with that
applause
set,
right
right?
there.
Yeah,
it is time. Yeah, he's right. Oh, God.
There's a lot of patriots in the world. I might be prejudiced, but I think the biggest patriots are in this country.
Yeah, President Guy.
President Guy.
That is so fucking
We should force him to be known as President Guy.
President Guy.
Every time. President Guy.
In 4 years, I envision an America that's back on top. Kill yourself.
Some people might think I sound crazy, but I believe in equal pay for equal work. They never say anything controversial.
He's saying they're all applause-generating statements.
Yes, there's not
Jizz
one
bags.
controversial statement. You know, times are tough. We're going to really have to cut some corners here and make some hard decisions about boo! Boo!
Dude, that's our fault. That's the public's fault. Fucking, who was it? It wasn't, it was Mondale said, we will have to raise taxes. He lost 49-1. So the public has said, tell us the truth and we will fuck you at the polls.
Yes, right.
They don't lie for no reason.
Was he the last guy that was honest?
I hope so.
I think you might be right.
They have taught us that if they tell us the truth we don't like, we're not going to forgive them. We're not going to fucking pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. We're going to fucking murder them and go with the guy that sold the bullshit better.
Yeah.
So we've asked for that treatment.
We just suck.
We really are terrible.
As a
49-1. That's the biggest landslide in history.
Just be totally honest.
The question is, what state did he win that year?
Not even his home state. I don't
It
remember.
wasn't his home state, because I would have assumed it would have been his home state.
No, it was not. It was him and Ferrara.
What was the dumb state that decided, okay, we're going with this?
I'm going to guess it was
Actually, not the dumb state. The one state that was being honest with itself.
Yeah. I don't remember what the state
We do
was.
have to raise taxes. Wait a minute.
I don't want to have to raise taxes. but the people who cook this economy are way too powerful for even the president to deal with. So you guys have to pay for it. That's how it works. Shit runs downhill. That's on your bumper sticker.
Shit runs downhill. 12.
Good bumper sticker.
You don't want to pay taxes. You got to make more money.
Oh, that's great. Very good.
Shit.
Well, with that,
none of them went to jail.
Right.
Why do you think that is?
Jesus Christ, that's fantastic.
Well, Mitt Romney was taped back in May, I guess, but they're releasing all the audio now because, we're so close to the election. It'll sting a little more. And Romney had to talk about the tape.
Chance of winning, 74.6. They got it right down to the nose, huh?
Oh, yeah, look at that.
What is chance of winning? What's the chance of winning
for
poll?
Obama?
What is the chance of winning poll?
Exactly.
I don't get that.
Who did they talk to?
Right.
That's got to do something to do with it. I bet you get points just for being an incumbent.
It's an MSNBC thing.
MSNBC chance of winning poll.
You know it was 75-25, and they were like, that doesn't look accurate. Just go 74.6, 25.4.
Knock a little off.
No one's going to question the numbers.
No, it can't be right on like that.
Right, of course.
It's like on your taxes. If you claim 20,000 and something, it looks like a made up number, so you have to throw in $20,041.18. Because that looks like you really added up the
Because no one wants to deal with that.
Right.
You just don't want to deal with the. All right, whatever. Romney, a little press conference. They explain the tapes.
Yeah.
That were leaked. Here it is.
California tonight.
Taxes saw themselves as victims or weren't to take responsibility for their own lives and their own futures. Do you have any response to that? What did you mean by that?
Well, you said a number of things there, and the answer is that I'm talking about the political process of drawing people into my campaign. Of course, individuals are going to take responsibility for their life, and my campaign is about helping people take responsibility and becoming employed again.
Pause that,
this
Sam.
Is why
we got
they're
something going on
hateable.
here.
This is why they're hateable.
Yeah.
Helping people.
First of all, that's what if you're going to say shit like that, that's how he should have sold it. But you can't backtrack after you said these people are not going to take responsibility for their own lives and say, well, my campaign is going to help. Just fucking, this is why they're. He was basically caught at a fundraiser just talking to some guys saying, and what he said was fairly accurate, at least to his campaign. He was going, 47% of the people, he was saying that Obama's got them. They pay no income tax. They're not going to take personal responsibility for their lives. What I have to focus on is the 5 or 10% of independents, which is truthful. That's what he has to focus on because he goes, because if I talk about tax cuts, they don't care because they don't pay taxes.
Yeah.
So they care about taxes for the rich.
And then they write right here on the cover of the paper, Mitt Romney says 47% of Americans are freeloaders.
But which is not what he said.
It isn't what he said.
Hey, they're freeloaders.
What he said wasn't the nicest thing, but it was fairly honest and accurate. He probably should have phrased it better.
And he did mean his campaign, not his presidency. He needs.
Right.
He doesn't have to cater to those people that he knows are going to vote for Obama. Like, he needs those undecided voters.
But you look at.
He's basically saying, look, 47% of people, they're not going to vote
for me. They're not voting for me.
But I probably got 45, and then there's this up in the air group that all I got to do is focus on that guy. Yeah.
That's what he meant. He didn't mean, when I become president, 47% of you can go fuck yourselves.
But this is what we train them to do. As much as we want them to be honest, we hear an honest clip from him, and what happens? Everybody calls him out on it.
Yeah.
It was like, why would that reporter say, what do you mean by that? It's obvious what he means.
This site is so slanted to the other side. Look at this. Underneath here it says, Clint Eastwood still won't admit that his RNC speech was terrible.
What a great headline.
She got me. You know what? It was terrible. Thank you, person with different political point of view.
I like breaking it down, though. It makes me feel like they're just following him around. Just admit it. Come on.
He still refuses to admit that what he did was terrible.
It was horrendous.
It's like, who cares? He's just a dumb actor. Like, why would anybody focus on it? He's just a dumb actor.
All of them. That should be... Like, I don't understand how that's not career suicide. Like, no one should ever see a movie again if you show up in one of those, that Desperate Housewife where she was just like, I don't need a tax cut now. But back when this girl was working at Wendy's, shut up. I get it. You're still one of us.
Right. Just a regular person trying to make it in the world. Let's
hear him grovel, he is fucking, I want to like Mitt Romney, I just can't.
Employed again, particularly those that don't have don't have work. This whole campaign is focused on getting people jobs again, putting people back to work. This is ultimately a question about direction for the country. Do you believe in a government-centered society that provides more and more benefits? Or do you believe instead in a free enterprise society where people are able to pursue their dreams? I believe the latter will help more people get good jobs. This is a campaign fundamentally about how to help the middle class in America and how to bring people.
You know, they should be playing Sweet Georgia Brown, that Harlem Globetrotters. Like, and they should always have like the press asks a question. Now, what did you mean when you said that? Then it's like, doo, 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 doo. Well, what I was trying to say.
Well, through the magic of radio, we could do that. We could do that for you, Bill.
Bobbing and weaving.
Why don't we do that for Bill Burr at E-Rock?
E-Rock.
Yeah. Let me know when you're ready.
He'll take an hour because he's looking up Sweat Georgia Brown. Dope. Because he can't spell.
Of course. You got it? All right. Back to the clip.
And how to bring people out of poverty into the middle class. And we've seen the results of the last 3-4 years, and it has not worked. My approach
you just bring the song down when they ask the question and the music comes back up.
Rising take-home pay. Yes, Steve?
You're not stepping away from anything you said in this video, are you? You're not backing away from anything. And do you worry you've offended this 47% who you mentioned?
Well, in response to a question, and I'm sure I can state it more clearly in a more effective way than I did in a setting
That's
like
fucking great.
And so I'm sure I'll point that out as time goes on, but we don't
Bobbing
even
and
have
weaving.
question given the snippet there, nor the full response, and I hope the person who has the video would put out the full material. But it's a message which I'm going to carry and continue to carry, which is, look, the president's approach is attractive to people who are not paying taxes because, frankly, my discussion about lowering taxes isn't as attractive to them.
Will work better for you, shorter answers.
I'm likely to draw them into my campaign as effectively as those who are in the middle. This is really a discussion about the political process.
He's all the way into the saxophone solo on this answer.
And of course, I want to help all Americans.
All
Americans have a bright and prosperous future. And I'm convinced
a bright
that
and
the
prosperous
president's
future
approach has not done that and will not do that. Yeah, Garrett?
Well, Governor, this is now a time where you've made comments at a fundraiser to donors that are different from what you say on the trail, either in terms of policy or at least in this case in terms of tone. What assurances can you give to voters that you're not saying different things to people who fund your campaign than what you're saying to them in public and on the stage?
You're coming to my fundraisers, and this is the same message that I give to people, which is that we have a very different approach than the president and I.
Very funny. Very funny. I would listen to that shit.
He wasn't lying. I mean, and it makes perfect sense, but people. The
best guy ever was that dude out of Cleveland. What the hell was he was on some debate. I don't even know what the hell year it was, but they said something like they had all these
Herbie Robinson out of Cleveland.
Herbie Robinson out of Cleveland.
I don't even get that, but that name's funny to me.
It's a go-to bet.
They had he's sitting there and they brought up like the Patriot Act and all these Democrats were sitting up there and somebody goes, well, you know, so and so you actually he goes you voted against it, and he goes, yeah, that's because I actually read it. And then all the Democrats up there were like, ha 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 ha, these like freaked out looks on their faces because none of them even
I
fucking
didn't read it either.
Yeah. He goes, I actually read the fucking thing. He destroys on it. And I don't know what his name is. I think it's whatever.
How many pages was that thing? Just like 700 pages, and they had to read it overnight or something before they signed it.
Yeah, I don't know.
There was a whole thing around
Dude,
that.
it's all how their aides feel because they, like even the Supreme Court justices, they get briefed on things.
Right.
They never read these things. They just get a synopsis. So the point of view of the aide is very important and very influential.
Of course.
Because the senators, all of them have an aide.
Presents the material to the guy that's making the decision.
John Robertson, I think, was it Roberts, the one who said that Obama's thing is a tax, was one of the guys, I think, no, Kennedy. Kennedy is the one who has, they said, a very tough process. Like he has somebody on this side and somebody on that side as guys who are his aides.
No kidding.
Yeah, and he tries to weigh everything really carefully.
We're trying to find that clip.
Yeah, Dennis Kucinich, I think.
He's
Is it Kucinich?
Kucinich,
yeah. Whether you like what he says or not, he actually answers questions.
Oh,
is he from Cleveland? He's from Minneapolis or something.
Minnesota?
Yeah, I thought he was from Minnesota. Kucinich.
No, I think he's from somewhere in Ohio. Because I believe he did something with the Teamsters out there, and they actually put out a hit on him.
Oh, fuck.
Really? Yeah, like in the late 70s.
Where's he from, Sam?
I believe you're the only person on the stage to vote on the Patriot Act right after 9/11 who voted against it right away. That's because I read it.
Look at all those guys.
They're all like,
Here's the question, Congressman. Do you feel, as you felt on other issues, that those who voted for the Patriot Act, and there are several here on this stage, bear a responsibility for the way this individual, this American citizen, is being treated when he goes through an airport?
You're owed an apology. You really are. And every American should be able to present themselves without having to be further scrutinized based on...
Bill's right. He is from Ohio. But what he's saying is, I understand
Those guys had a good laugh.
But it's unrealistic.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying his point. I'm just talking about a guy who, if you ask him a question, he just answers it. He actually says what he's feeling. Whether you agree with it or not, I actually like this guy.
There's something to be said about that.
Yeah, because
you know what he's thinking.
Yeah, what do you think about that? Do you like that? No, I don't. Rather than be like, well, there's a lot of ways to look at stuff.
It's complicated. We got to break this down. What do you mean by that?
Ron Paul is like that. He said something I didn't necessarily like, but I mean, it was about blowback, accepting blowback for 9/11. And people were booing him, but he's like, hey, look. And he said what he wanted to say, and I respected him a lot for, he just answers questions like you're saying.
My favorite is when they ask a question and they just go somewhere completely else. Be like, do you plan on raising taxes during your presidency? And they just go, America is a great country. It's like, where the fuck is he going? Where the hell is he going? Where did he go? He just walked right out of the room, and now we're in a grassy field.
They fucking do that constantly.
And they'll touch on one word that you ask. They'll go like, well, taxes, no one likes taxes, but my plan is, and then they'll just go completely they'll just touch what you said and walk away.
Yes.
That's fucking funny.
I hate that. I've watched Stunned.
That's like someone who touches you while you're talking. You ever done that? And the man makes you shut up as you're talking. They just sort of touch your shoulder, and then you sort of taper off your sentence.
Patrice said Geraldo Rivera did that to him, and he said on a talk show, because Patrice would overtalk anybody, and he said Geraldo touched him, and he goes, and I shut up. It worked. Like he couldn't believe that.
Man,
Geraldo was such a pro. He shut Patrice up by touching him on the talk show, and he didn't realize it at the time.
Oh shit! That's what I needed. I never figured that out.
Yeah,
in 20
exactly.
years of knowing him.
I think that was Hannity, right?
No, it was Geraldo. Oh, it was on Hannity. I don't remember.
I think they both were on Hannity.
Reach over and touch him.
Yeah, because there's something dominating. About when a person puts their hand on you. It's like your instinct is just to let them talk.
You shut up and I'll talk.
Yeah.
Good old Geraldo. What else is going on? Enough with the politics. We got Mike Rowe coming in at 9 o'clock.
No hockey.
Fuck. And I don't even care. Do you care?
The NHL, I swear to God,
they're stupid.
It's like they have a fear of success. Every time they bring it around and the game is at the best it's ever been. I got to be these lockouts. I'm sick of the owners having their lawyers look at the deal, agree to the deal, and then years later see that they're not getting as good a deal, and then they do. Well,
we're going to start over.
We're going to take our stadiums and go home,
right?
And everybody just has to sit there.
But I don't see an outrage by the fans that we've had it enough. It's the worst time to have a lockout.
I think it's part of the game now. I think it's part of the game. Like every 6-7 years, there's just not going to be hockey for a little bit, and then
they got to start over. They had a nice momentum going with hockey. They really did.
Yeah, the profits, everything was up, everything was going good. Good time for a lockout.
And then what were the owners saying? Like they don't like the deal?
I swear,
this is the split.
I don't know.
This split is the players were getting like 57% of the revenue share. So their initial offer was that they wanted the players to go all the way down to 46. They literally want them to get less than 50%.
Wow.
Like whatever, 54% of the reason I go to a game is to look at the arena. Is that what you're telling me? I mean, they got to be at least 50. But you know what they're doing? They're asking for. It's like when the NFL owners goes. One of their things they put on the table was to go up to 18 games a season. They knew nobody was going to do that, but that's just so they can. Well, look, we took that off the table, like they're actually negotiating.
Yeah,
so
the disposable bargaining chip.
Yeah. Right. So players have actually they've gone all the way down to like 53-point-something%. Like the players are actually being, look, how about this? And they're still they're playing hardball.
What do you think they want? 50-50, the owners?
In the end, Well,
I mean,
least.
ultimately, they probably would want 46 if
Of
they would
course.
agree with it.
They
But
probably
yeah,
would
I mean, if they're going to say
50.
46, yeah, I don't know
They
what
probably
they
would
want.
grab 50. But in the end, the fans will suffer. We'll fucking have to pay more.
But didn't they?
Again.
But didn't they sign the agreement? The owners?
Yeah, their lawyers look at it and then they sign it. That's what happened in the NFL, and then the NFL owners realized, like, wow, the players really made out in that, and we didn't. So then they go, well, it's a lockout. We're not letting you into the stadiums, and I don't know. It's really childish.
And a lot of those guys will just go to Europe and play. They don't give a fuck.
The only thing for the fans to do is to not show up. Like, if people stop showing up,
that's
what
what
I'm saying.
sucks.
But I mean, that's what you have to do. That's why I don't go to games.
Baseball
because I
was-
hate the way they run.
Baseball was
things.
fucked. What was it, 94?
Yeah.
Baseball was fucked, but everyone said, we forgive. And they came back.
No. They did.
It took a little while, but
it was the roid. Everybody got all roided
Oh,
up.
right. It was the whole
and all the records
McGuire.
broke.
That's
yeah,
right.
that was real. Like
Yeah.
it was
McGuire
dead-
Sosa.
It was it was dead in the water, and then all of a sudden, all these great records started
Hey,
falling.
look at this. Yeah, he's jacking fucking.
bunting home runs.
balls.
That was
Bunting home runs.
1998 was one of the greatest years ever in baseball. We had the home run thing. The 98 Yankees were one of the greatest teams you'll ever see.
116 wins.
Ever see.
Was it 116
wins?
And that was before Steinbrenner went nuts. Like that was
Right.
that was a core Yankee team and like great trades and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. I think
Paul O'Neill, all those guys, right?
I think they switched out the balls, too, man.
They've actually debunked that thing. I think.
You think?
They didn't do that.
I think they switched out the balls, man. They really do.
There's some guy I read in Sports Illustrated. It's hilarious. He's like this nerdy guy. And one time in like 6th or 7th grade, he just had a perfect swing and he hit a home run. And he was so psyched and he never did it again. And he's just been obsessed with what makes a ball go out of the park. And he's done all this crazy research about cork bats and juiced up balls. I do. There was something about sticking it in a humidor in either Arizona or Colorado. I'm too fucking stupid to remember what I read. But it did have an effect with the ball not going out of the park.
Really?
They brought it down. Like I think in Colorado, that's what they did. They stick them in something just to try to keep it into the park. And then in Arizona, they could have done the same thing, but they had a problem with fans showing up to the game. So they're like, nah, let them keep flying out. We got to get people here.
Right.
That's my really overly simplifying 10 pages of shit that I can barely remember.
What do you think it was in
that I read on a flight?
What do you think it was in the 60s, the dead ball era? I think Yastrzemski had like a 301 average, and that was the highest. Like, I think wasn't he the only guy to bat over 300 that year? There was like some fucking horrendous.
Maybe they were switching out the recipe for
It
the
has to
ball,
be.
and they fucked up.
Well, he's
But
the
you look at
he's
this-
the last guy who won the Triple Crown. I want to say he batted either 330 something or 340 something.
I mean, only in this one year, though. In this, whatever this year was, and I could be wrong about that 301, but I thought Yastrzemski had the highest average that year, and it was a terrible year for hitters.
I don't know. All I know is when I was a kid, if you had 37 home runs going into September, you were going to be the home. You could actually win the home run crown with like 38, 39, 39
They
dingers.
barely hit that 40 for
Yeah.
a bunch of years there. You're right.
Well, there was that one year Jackson when he was on the A's. He had like 35 or 34 at the All-Star break, and he finished with like 39.
What happened?
Well, I think he just started because everyone was like,
It
"Dude,
freaked him out?
You're gonna do it. You're gonna
Right.
do it." And he just got up there and
freaked him out.
Started panicking.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Is that the year he hit the Reggie almost hit one out of the stadium
Remember
with
that?
the A's? Yeah, but was that when he hit the top? Is that the same year?
In the All-Star game.
Yeah, he was young and fucking just awesome.
I got a buddy of mine does a dead-on impression of that. Like dead-on. Him, Reggie Jackson literally walking out of the dugout into the on-decks, does the whole thing. He does
Really?
this dude, Jason Lawhead, comedian out of Cleveland. He does Pete Rose breaking Ty Cobb's hit season. He does the thing all the way to him breaking down, crying, and hugging his son.
No kidding.
Yeah, he does it every year at the Rose Bowl. He'll do Ricky Henderson running a ball down in the gap and throwing it into second base, and you're looking at it and it's Ricky Henderson, and he goes all out.
That's fucked up, yeah.
No, and it's like everybody else is at other tailgates looking at this guy, and he does like the whole thing and slapping the glove. And he makes the break on it, dude. He's got Reggie's like trot down.
Is he online? Let's watch it.
No, he doesn't have it online. I have a great video of it. And he dropped a bunch of weight, and he goes, "Nah, I look like a tub of shit in that. I don't want to do it." But you know what? Next time I come to town, I'll show you the.
Guy shows the video.
Love to see that.
The video. Oh no, it's.
What do you think of the replacement refs for football?
I don't know if this is true, but I heard that they like referees' salaries are like part of their itemized list of expenses, like under like towels. So I don't know. They don't have a leg to stand on. This always happens, and then they go, well, we're going to hold out like this superstar referees.
Right.
You don't know their names, but I think they should pay them.
I think the replacements are doing all right. I know there's issues here and there, but in general, it seems like the game. Although last night, I guess there were so many penalties.
You mean the scabs?
Yeah. There were so many penalties in the first half of the game last night. It took over 2 hours for the first half.
Yeah, are they unionized, the refs?
You would assume so.
Because why are the players playing if the ref union having a problem, but they would get mad if other players played while they were on strike?
Right.
Shouldn't they be honoring the strike as players?
Football's a great game. You just launch into that.
And the refs are awful, though. I think that they should be held accountable for blown calls. Not the occasional one, but and I am not watching baseball anymore, but I saw that Yankee game where they got fucked by that. The guy got pulled off first in the final out of the ninth. And it was like, how does a ref make that call? And still, and there's no penalty for blowing it like that.
Yeah, and it was truly a blown call.
I mean, that was that wasn't a balls and strikes call, that was a terrible fucking call. And like they do it in every game, they do it in every sport, and they can just keep doing it.
You guys remember when that guy blew that guy's perfect game?
He shouldn't. And he felt bad about it.
He just kept saying he threw a perfect game, and I kicked the shit out of that call. I kicked the shit out of it.
Yeah.
But that's where Bud Selig
should have just done the right thing.
Bud Selig
Sometimes you just do the right thing. We did that whole fucking break. We spent hours on that.
Yeah, baseball is to me the worst of all.
When
it
was so obvious it was a blown call for something as special as a perfect game.
It was all choked up.
And the outcome doesn't change. You just do the right thing.
Yeah, Bud Selig's a cunt.
Just do.
But he's like, oh, no, then there'll be all these other calls. How about this? Only ninth inning, 2-out calls when a perfect game's at stake. You fucking Milwaukee hunk of shit.
Right, then we'll
Dr. Creep.
Then we'll go down that road again.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're right.
Yeah, I hope he grabs his chest and fucking falls into a hole.
What do you think
I hate him.
The Pats had a tough loss this weekend.
I was at the Panthers game, so I missed it, but it looked like a brutal game. I was watching it. It looked like we couldn't score a touchdown, but
I was watching my dumb Jets.
Oh, you guys! How many times are you going to fall for that? We're going to win the Super Bowl after week 1. Here we go! They're all high-fiving at a Buffalo Wild Wings.
On our way! We're on our way!
We just stopped the Buffalo Bills.
They couldn't be better against the Bills. They couldn't be better. And the Bills turn around and they kicked ass this last
It's too early.
Weekend.
It's too early. You can't look at either one of those games and be say that's the Jets.
He marched down the field. First drive was great. He marched 75 yards or whatever it was for a touchdown. And then the rest of the game, he was a bust. The entire rest of the game. And Tebow is just a joke.
Hey, I'd love to have sympathy for you, but I'm not a fan of your team.
I understand.
I like how Rex he's kind of chilled out on the trash talking.
Yeah,
I think they balanced out his meds.
Well, it hasn't worked out for him, so he's got to shut the fuck up. So, I don't know, whatever.
Smash cut, you guys finally win it, and he's just going to be screaming, "What'd I say? What'd I say?"
We should break before Mike Rowe, I think.
Yeah, I have to take
Mike.
All right.
I'll be in Columbus this weekend. The Funny Bone.
It's a great club.
It is actually a really nice room.
Columbus is it's a good crowd, right?
Yeah, I was surprised by how much I enjoyed it the first time I was there.
We did all right in radio there. Good old Columbus.
Yeah, they come out too.
They do.
Just Friday, Saturday. 3 shows Saturday fucking blows.
You have to do 3 on Saturday?
Yeah. 2 Friday, 3 Saturday.
Yikes. Jimmy's working.
I hate doing that 3rd show Saturday. I don't mind the performance.
Say that now.
No, but I mean, it stinks because you're fucking so used to 2 shows.
Right.
The 3rd show, you're like, it's just a long night.
That's a long night. Yeah. That means you're doing well up there with ticket sales.
Or it's just the schedule they have.
Oh, really?
Yeah, of course. I'd love to believe it was my fucking in demand for me, but no.
No.
Basically, if you were just lighting farts on stage, you'd have a 3rd show Saturday.
Bill Burr, Carolines. He'll continue with us, and Mike Rowe joins the program. Stay there. That's a good point. Really fast, being called out here. You're fucking insane, Opie. The season has been full of these scabs holding up every fucking game in the NFL. I didn't notice really when I was watching the Jets-Steelers game. for the most part.
Right. Somebody says that refs don't have a union, so that they're
not someone. Our pal Tyson Walter, who played in the NFL.
Okay, so then they're not scabs. You got to have a union to have scabs, right?
No, Tyson knows what he's talking about. They don't have a union.
Tyson's full of shit.
All right, then answer me this.
Jack Dunphy's full of shit.
Where's the Mike Rowe?
I don't know.
He's held up in
traffic or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just made that up.
Oh, good one.
That's good enough for me. Hey, Bill, how's the podcast going, man?
It's going good.
You love it, huh?
Yeah, I actually I do enjoy that. I had little problems uploading it as always yesterday, so now I'm going to be using another person. I'll probably use Dropbox.
Oh,
I do that
was hard to work. I tried Dropbox. I couldn't figure it out. I'm terrible at that shit,
dude. I had to talk to my web guy. He he was trying to teach me how to land a plane. I was on the phone for 45 minutes going, I click on what? Where does it go? So
aren't you afraid of using like something like Dropbox that you're going to like click the wrong thing and then people can just go in and get everything off your computer? That's my greatest fear is that I'm going to put the wrong fucking folder in there that says everything on it.
Everything.
Cock pictures.
Not yours.
I get worried about the like that SoundCloud. Louis had a great bit about that on some talk show. I forget what he was talking about, but basically it's just weird that you give them your photos. I don't use any of that crap.
I don't like that shit at all. I don't want
iCloud stinks. You can all be hacked. I don't use any of it.
I don't want that shit going to some fucking cloud make believe cloud.
The biggest lie out there is this site is secure.
Secure, yeah.
None of them are secure. Give me a
and then there's
break.
another little thing that you could take pictures and it automatically sends them to loved ones' phones.
What?
It's like they'll get your pictures right when you take them.
Dick pictures and all?
Apparently, I guess.
Well, that's if this is for people who aren't being seedy sexually.
Right.
This is probably for people that are actually like interacting on a healthy level. Like, hey, send this picture to your wife. It's like a fucking landscape.
Were they very excited about this new technology?
Oh, I love it. I can see my grandchildren.
Yeah, but there's something still like it's just annoying. I don't need to see every fucking time you take a picture of an apple.
Exactly.
I said apple.
But it can also be set up fraudulently. Where maybe you can go into somebody else's phone and set it to send to your phone. So if they're doing some shady shit, if you're out, you take a picture with a girl, your chick gets it.
Yeah, that's what nerds do instead of playing sports.
Yep.
Like that's their sport, is they go in there, and I could see how much more fun that would be.
Oh, way more fun. Seems like, right?
Yeah, acting like you're a spy.
Hacking? Yeah, you could be a spy.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to be a spy?
I can see quickly how that would get out of control.
Right.
We were just having fun.
I know. You're being led away in handcuffs into a black van, not even into a police car.
I know. I wanted to pick a superhero movie, and I couldn't remember the name of it. I think what's the one that had all of them in it recently? Was
Avengers?
The Avengers, the Avengers T-shirt.
Was the Hulk in that? I didn't see it. Yeah. Oh, he was. Okay.
From what I heard, he was in it and was awesome.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
The Hulk had a tremendous performance in that.
Yeah. Little purple shorts.
Where's Mike Rowe?
He's in traffic.
Still?
I was right.
Oh, wow.
Sam, talking to the mic.
It is correct.
It is my guess.
I thought Jimmy was guessing.
I was, but I was like, where else could he be? Where in traffic is he? Cross streets.
I can get the address.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, please do.
Just get the general.
Tell him just to go home. It's too late now.
Stupid shiny apple. I hate that Sam's eating an apple.
What is he promoting, by the way? Because
we've got a mini-series.
How booze built America. Oh, they're going to touch on the Kennedys and shit with this? How booze built America?
He is
the bootlegging.
Oh, I
nice.
was sort of reading that book, Sins of the Father.
Oh, yeah,
This guy just takes Joe Kennedy out at the knees, like, the whole book. But so much of it is just like, well, he did this. Did he do it because of this? Or maybe it was that. It's just like, oh, Jesus Christ. But he did seem like, he did it like they were saying, like he did insider trading before it was considered illegal. It was just considered.
It was just business?
It was just considered smart.
A rascally sort of thing to do.
Well, that's rascally.
Yeah, like along those lines. But like, yeah, he was one of those guys, according to the book. And this guy definitely had a friggin' axe to grind, but he didn't seem like somebody you would want to walk away from your checkbook or leave any sort of thing open because he would, according to the book, allegedly, he would just rifle through. He would gain your confidence in your business. He would rifle through files, get all kinds of information, and then somehow go into the stock market, manipulate something. He basically spent like 7 months at every job. And he would go in there like a virus.
Scooping up info.
According to the book. But the book was just so ridiculously slamming the guy that I was joking with Nia that I felt like I was reading like some summer tell-all. I should have been digging my toes in the sand like some soccer mom as I read it. I was like, this is just so... Can you give the guy credit for anything?
But you know
Did
what?
he do anything good? It just got to that point.
Well, he
where
obviously fucked this guy's family.
Or,
like something.
This guy's grandfather is.
It's probably accurate though, because you figure they put out a president, an attorney general who probably would have been president, and another senator who. I mean, that was, Joe Kennedy did something right, and it probably was from doing all that shady shit.
I mean, yeah, they definitely. There was definitely a lot of. I don't know, dude. I mean, if during Prohibition, if you had a Scotch hookup, you wouldn't make a little money on the side.
Of course. Why wouldn't you? Back in the good old
bottle
days.
Of booze.
So I guess.
How long did Prohibition last for? I'm sorry.
Oh man, was that was it 3 years? No, it was longer than 3 years. Was it like? She was either 3 or 15. Wait a minute.
Oh my God.
6 years.
6?
6 years.
Long enough for Joe Kennedy to do what he had to do.
Yeah, to make a few bucks.
60 years. How long? Sam.
Prohibition was a major reform movement. No,
and we don't need a definition of prohibition. Just how long? Give us years. But
10
there should be a dash in between some numbers.
4 months.
You've just said every possible.
Yeah, I'm just blurting out what people are saying there. 3 hours.
3 hours.
It only lasted 3 hours.
No, we're not talking about it. Cooley's compound.
That book that I'm reading, it basically says all of Joe's kids died because he was a dick.
Wow.
That's what it means. They always say
pretty
like
brutal.
The kids pay for the sins of the father.
Right, yeah.
Like, that's basically.
So that's what they're saying? Like, that's what he was saying that. Wow, that's pretty fucking brutal.
That's why I don't believe in like that kind of karma stuff. It's like bad shit should happen to the person who did it.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you shouldn't.
Yeah, this guy does that, so then his kid falls off his tricycle.
Although, if you think like karma would probably work that way because you'd want to fuck the guy up as badly as possible and the kids and everything.
1919 to 1933.
14 years. Wow.
Really?
All the 20s had no booze? The roaring 20s?
Well, that's why they were roaring.
No,
it was like all about fucking illegal booze and fucking speakeasies and flappers.
All right.
Yeah, da 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 da. Yeah, da. That was fast motion.
Yeah.
How do you know flappers? They just opened a comedy club in Burbank called Flappers. And I was like, why do they always give it a zany name? And then somebody goes, no, a flapper was a dancer in the
back in the fucking
It's a wacky
days.
name though.
I guess it's better than
20s.
than flailers.
Yeah, they were the whores.
They were whores back in the 20s.
In Boardwalk Empire, they have a cool scene where the guy's playing, I think, Eddie Cantor, and he's doing jokes, and he's doing, like, back then, comics sang, and, like, he did a little bit of everything, but it was kind of fun to watch a comic.
Song and dance number.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, now I'm going to do a little soft chew for you.
You know what, dude? My wife said, take me where I never been. Dude, I took her to a skinny guy's house. You know what, dude? You gotta think positive, dude. You got your white water fountain, your black water fountain. Boom! I'm living a dream.
Prohibition Bobby.
Prohibition Bobby.
Who wouldn't want to see that?
Yeah.
I just realized how little I know about history because I so want to pile on.
I know.
I have no reference.
I'm trying to think, like,
who was president?
Woody Wilson?
Calvin Coolidge, I call him. Dude,
I'm in traffic. I'm beeping at this guy. Ooga,
Yeah.
Motorized car. Get a fucking horse, dude.
Dude, the horse-drawn carriage. You know, dude, if man exceeds a speed of 30 miles an hour, he'll surely perish. If man were meant to fly, he wouldn't be as fat as me, dude.
You know what, dude? Sorry I'm late. My horse had a heart attack pulling me, dude.
And they just bring the lights down and he's up the lazy river. I think you just broke into song. I think you did something and you did that exaggerated whoa, and the band starts playing.
Yeah.
Oh, when those saints, they go marching in.
The worst ever.
When the Saints go marching in. Okay.
Who was that? You just Durante. Oh, he was the worst.
A dinka-dinka-doo.
I fucking detest Jimmy Durante.
Can we play him again?
I'd rather not.
I love when we play Jimmy Durante.
He stunk. And not Durante.
This guy is fucking famous,
I like the
too,
subtleties of his performance.
That's Mike Rowe, but
subtlety of his performance.
Oh, Bill, he wasn't subtle.
Here's Jimmy Durante.
Make someone happy.
Wait, this doesn't
It's not
look
Jimmy
like
Durante. This is from 1988, Sam.
The Killers.
The Killers.
For me, he's the original Tom Waits.
Really?
For me, yeah. Same hat.
Hey.
Oof.
Isn't this using a commercial now?
I like this guy.
It's this version.
He looks like a Progeria kid, though.
Yeah, he really does.
And make someone happy.
I was worried this was going to be overproduced.
Yeah, right? Jesus Christ.
Just burying his awful voice.
Who enjoyed this?
I don't know.
They, yeah. Hey, you know what else is great? They looked at his bloated alcohol nose like it was endearing.
Yeah.
This big, the schnozzle. It's ravaged by alcohol.
Make one person happy like my drinking buddy Bing when he smashes his daughter in the forehead with a bottle.
Cha-cha-cha.
We
This was
find
a big
another one,
hit,
Sam?
I guess, for him.
You don't like this one?
No, I want
hit.
the one with the comedically.
A dink-a-doo.
Oh, this is the one we hate.
Look at his face. Doing.
He said, kid, you got a face for radio.
Dude.
His arms would be out like this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's called a dink-a-dink-a-dude. Dink-a-dink-a-dude, you know.
Mine's different, dude.
Dude.
How do you like those guys? Everybody puts in extra notes. I'll overlook it. But the tune for you.
Oh, my God.
Shit.
When do you talk and when do you sing? Oh, again.
This makes my spine hurt.
I don't mind him. It's the background singer.
It really is annoying, right?
The Andrew
What's that? Just reminds me like that fucking Hitler's right around the corner.
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
Yeah.
Everything is sunny. Baby, I fucking love you.
And then fucking
Desi Arnaz and Jimmy Durante in fucking color?
Everybody wants to get in.
Termites with a sense of rhythm.
What? What does that mean?
He doesn't have a gin blossom nose, dude. He just has a giant fucking
Really?
nose.
I thought he had like...
Hey, someone get the PR off the drums.
He's a vocalist.
Oh, boy.
Desi Arnaz.
I love when he stands up and says his real name like nobody knows who it is.
Why, sure.
Say, where are you going with that Cuban wastebasket?
I'm going to cheat on my wife again.
Cuban wastebasket. It's his wife.
Where you go with that Cuban cum dumpster?
Does the carpet match the drapes? You ever pull a train with Bill Frawley? You ever eat Vivian Vance's asshole after?
Ruined, Jimmy. I just had a very bad head cold. Well, too close to my nose.
Oh.
You know, you could wipe out an illustrious career.
What is he doing?
He's tripping.
Illustrious career. You know, I wish
How
I
long
could
did the
speak English as
canned
well as
laughter guy have to wait to push the button before he got that punchline?
Well, you ain't. You know something? I'll make a deal with you.
Oof. And he'd look at the audience like, oh, what's this guy saying?
I'll learn you English.
I'll learn you English.
If you learn me Spanish. That ought to be something. All right. But let me ask you something.
Oh, Ricky, let me in.
That's when Lucy's voice was gone at that point.
Ricky!
Did anybody get older quicker than Lucille Ball?
Holy shit.
Dude, the difference between her talking to Desi and Mr. Mooney.
Right.
Jeffy, the original Tara Reid we used to do.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Oh my God! I can't believe I'm in Europe. Everybody, make sure you see the new American Pie movie. It's fantastic.
She blew us off.
Yeah.
That bitch.
Oh, she
Lucy
did.
on Joan Rivers.
That was probably a good move for her.
Yeah, probably.
Oh my God.
Kennedy Center
You know what,
tribute,
you're right.
and she's back on TV. Aren't we lucky?
What year is this?
Life with Lucy, the living legend
86.
herself.
She died like
Lucille
88,
Ball.
maybe 89.
Just riddled with cancer from all those Philip Morris cigarettes.
Yeah, she was eating them. Fucking pudding.
That would have been a good picture, right, Jim?
Lucille Ball, yeah.
That's a big one.
They all worshipped her.
Yeah.
Carol Burnett and Joan.
But they're all just like E-Rock.
The studio audience.
Lucille Ball!
Seems pretty healthy.
Well, Joan.
We might have to find a clip from '88.
How nice.
With her tobacco
They
voice.
used to smoke unfiltered cigarettes and have that aluminum foil suntan.
Now then. About your sex life.
Lucy.
You know what it is to follow Nancy Reagan?
Yes.
No one could do it but you. No one can do it.
And then they got Joan
she's
Rivers
cool. I like
pre-fucking
Pre-surgery.
surgery there.
That was while Carson was looking at her picture yelling, "You cunt!" That was around that time period.
Yes. How dare you?
What a cunt. Yes, I hope Edgar kills himself.
Oh, shit.
How powerful was he that you had to ask his permission to do a talk show?
To do a show.
Can I?
If you didn't.
Can I have my dream come true?
Yeah, God forbid.
Yes.
Someone goes for their dream,
Would that be
Johnny.
okay if I try to get my piece of the pie?
Especially since they weren't they weren't going to offer her the show.
Of course.
And she knew she was not in the running for permanent host.
She had every right to try.
I think they said he was mad because she didn't call. Like he had to hear it. Like she didn't call and go, "Hey, I got a show."
She probably was scared shitless of the guy. That's how that works.
Fucking was he was a crybaby.
He was a rough one. Yeah.
Let other people fucking have some competition.
And he hated women, I think, too, because his mother was just such a cunt.
He was a guy who didn't want you to have a show.
Tommy from
You
Brooklyn.
used to have to call him. You'd call him day or night.
Yeah, fucking talking and singing. That. Oh no, I hate it.
And I would too. I'd call him, but not till 1 a.m. And when you called him,
and
when you called you, those stupid background singers.
Your husband feels so guilty that he offs himself.
He drank and took some pills.
but you pick yourself up and you keep on going.
It always comes around positive.
Of course.
You'll never get that death face out of your mind.
Tommy in Brooklyn says Durante sounds like Ira, our pal Ira.
No.
You don't think so?
A dink-a-doo. When you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you.
You know, you want some gossip on Lucille Ball?
Yeah.
I've been waiting for this call for many years.
Oh, yeah.
Andy in Cleveland. What's up, Andy?
Hey, guys. Grew up in Jamestown, New York, just south of Buffalo, and Lucille Ball was her hometown. And right about the late 90s, they really started going all in with the Lucille Ball thing as like their way to bring up the town's income on their old hero. And they had to be very careful about who they interviewed about her previous life when she lived in Jamestown, because anybody who went to high school with her about the same time she left for Hollywood will tell you that she fucked her way out of town.
Oh, yeah?
Huge way.
Lucille Ball was a slut.
It had nothing to do with her talent?
That big fucking red bush.
Yeah.
Did she have a bozo bush?
Maybe that's how she learned how to make all her funny faces.
She was probably awful on the sack. That's why Ricky was fucking everybody.
Ricky was fucking everyone he worked with. Yeah.
I had lunch when I
love the pussy.
When I did the burn.
Love this gossip from 1950.
His fucking.
I know. I just love how new details show.
Yes, brand new.
Jeff Ross's show tapes right next door to where I Love Lucy was taped.
Andy.
Oh, really?
So the lunch was catered. It's at Hollywood Center Studios, which is where Lucky Louie was taped. They do a lot of shit there.
Why, sure, Fred.
Yeah, but you can see the steps going up to the dressing rooms, and there's pictures of like fucking Desi and Lucy, and you could just see that's where he would go up and probably fuck these girls. I heard that
you gotta give the tour, Jimmy.
No, but somebody told me that they would have. Somebody told me that Lucy had people watching to see who went up to see him because she was so fucked. Imagine your own show and all you're thinking of is your husband's gonna be fucking somebody up there.
Fucking some broad while
everybody
you're
knows
trying
it
to do
but
a
you.
scene.
Lucy, I have to rehearse.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have to work the lines over with her. Come on, I'm not fucking Lucy.
Why are you taking women up there, Ricky? Why?
Don't run up here. You have grapes on your feet. You fucking, you're unsexy cunt.
You would be a good tour guide.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, keep up.
Yeah.
If you look up here, you'll see where Desi used to rail bitches in the ass while Lucy was trying to do a scene.
And this red fleck here is actually a piece of blood after she hit him with a stapler when she walked in and caught him receiving a hand job.
I guess we're going to have to say Mike Rowe's not going to make the show today Sam.
Well, Roland's blaming it on the rain.
Roland.
He probably.
I hate when he does that. Look, Bill doesn't even know what it is. He's like, what are you doing?
I literally had just had to rub
He's
my
rubbing
hand.
the spot.
I hate that. That's Edgar.
That's Edgar. He's
That's how
trying to
Edgar
get your
taps
attention.
you to get your attention. Excuse me, with his fingernail tips. It's the
All
worst.
4 fingers.
It's the worst feeling.
Yeah.
Bill.
Isn't that terrible?
Oh, you gotta
It's
wipe
so
it off.
intrusive. You have to wipe your hand out to it.
I used to work in this warehouse. This fucking guy, touchy-feely dude. The worst thing ever. Like I can't even. I was standing. Used to try to avoid the guy. Make sure there was like a table between the two of you. If you said good morning, he just always had to fucking touch you in some weird place in your torso. So one time I was at the Coke machine.
What is that about?
I don't know. The vending machine. And he came in, he goes, "Hey, Bill." And I hear his voice behind me. And he slapped me on the back on like my left shoulder, slid his hand all the way across the back, and then squeezed my right shoulder like it was a fucking melon.
Oh, my God.
Dude, I couldn't shake that for like 4 days.
You couldn't. I
He
just like
just went
chills.
slap, slide, squeeze.
Did he want a piece, you think? What's that about?
No, I don't know. Like, there's some like really effeminate straight guys. They just are. I don't know if that's what he was, but he was. Yeah.
Yeesh.
Lucille Ball was still alive when that happened. that's how
I like
long,
how you brought
that's
it
how
around.
long ago that
Like
was.
you
I
still remember
how.
When did she die? 89?
88, 89.
April of
somewhere
88 or 89.
Hey, Sam, so how is Roland blaming the rain?
He's saying it's traffic.
Okay.
Where's he staying? Fucking Hoboken?
Or he listened to the last
Fuck.
20 minutes and was like, "Yeah, I don't think I want to."
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
don't
feeling
really
it today.
think I.
Well, we'll break then and we'll figure it out.
He just,
Well,
wait.
What?
Now Roland says bringing him back now.
Oh,
Well, he's going to wait. We're going to take a quick
I gotta
break.
pee.
Yeah, we got to pee and
All
shit.
right.
Bill Burr, Caroline's this weekend
Stop
starting
fucking
Thursday
doing
through
that. It
Sunday,
keeps poking
212-757-4100. And Jimmy's heading up to Columbus to do the funny bone.
Yes.
The funny bone. Mike Rowe next. Our old pal Mike Rowe has entered the studio.
Just when you thought it was safe, gentlemen.
Yes.
How are you, sir?
Doing great. What's it been, 2
No
years?
doubt. Probably around there, yeah.
And do you hold a grudge?
But
Oh, come on.
what the fuck? Jesus Christ.
That was
Opie.
nobody's fault.
Oh, my God.
I got to explain to Bill
What
Burr.
happened? What happened?
We're over.
drama on this show.
Come
on.
No, we love Mike. Mike has been doing our show forever. I don't even know, at least 8 years at this point.
Has always been one of the best guests we've
We
had.
love
He's
Mike,
like,
and we got in a weird situation where Victoria Gotti was in here,
Ugh.
and Mike Rowe was also in here, and we talked to him for maybe like 5 minutes, but we we're going to get back to him, and Victoria was coming in for a book tour or whatever, and she fucking scared the shit out of us. We just sat there and listened to her for 2 straight hours.
Well,
and
the thing is,
and Mike's sitting there just twiddling his fucking thumbs, going, "When you getting back to me?" And none of us knew how to handle the situation.
It's because it wasn't really a book tour. It was a book reading. And what she did was she said, "Here's a book I have, and it's maybe 1,000 pages, and I thought it'd be cool if I read them
If I
all."
just read it
Right
right now
300
for all of you.
We didn't know what to do that day. It was one of those weird days that we just couldn't get ourselves out of a weird situation. We ended up sending him booze booze and everything. We felt so bad.
You sent me booze, and I drank it.
Okay.
In a display of solidarity. So.
What a segue. Speaking of booze, How Booze Built America, tomorrow, 10 p.m. on Discovery Channel. Yeah. What does this cover? The entire history of booze in America?
That's all. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we want to take a small, modest bite, so we went with two, enduring institutions. Actually, what happened was I just couldn't do dirty jobs anymore.
Yeah. Finally had it.
Well, it's not done. It's just that, each year you'd write down like a slightly different goal, like 5 more, 10 more, 3 more states, and, 100 jobs, 200 jobs. So we wound up doing 300 jobs. We got to all 50 states, wound up going to Australia, and we came back, and it was like, look, what would a world look like where we just didn't do this for a minute, And everybody said, well, we don't know. What would it look like? And so we had this big talk, and what it came down to was, what do you like? And I said, I like booze and I like history. So let's do a show about booze and history.
History of booze.
But it really is pretty amazing. I mean, if you look back, from the day the Pilgrims landed, which, by the way, they weren't going to Plymouth, they were going to Virginia. They landed in Plymouth because they ran out of beer. And, beer was every single day, gallons and gallons and gallons. They drank 6-7 times the amount of beer we drink. Their kids drank beer every day.
Nice.
And so, from the taverns, to the sugar tax, to the molasses tax, to the Revolution, to the Civil War, to all through Prohibition, of course, every single major thing that impacted the country, booze is always in the room.
The whole thing was a bar fight, basically.
It's one big giant bar crawl. That's exactly right. Yeah, the fur trappers, that went west were following Indian trails, but of course there was no money back then, so the only real currency were beaver pelts and booze. So all the commerce that drove the country west happened because people were trading in alcohol. And, it's not the most glorious way to look at the country, but it's actually really cool. And the more you learn, the more interesting it gets. And so the next thing you know, you're in a bar recreating Carrie Nation. Ring any bells with you guys?
Prohibition woman there.
Yeah, it was more like temperance, right? So it's, 1904. This is a scene in one of the episodes that I love, but we do these elaborate recreations that I'm allowed to basically walk through. So it's like Forrest Gump meets Zelig, and I'm just this guy in a T-shirt and a ball cap. Suddenly, it's 1904. We're in Sullivan's Bar here in New York. John O'Sullivan, bare knuckle boxing champion. This is a true story. And Carrie Nation walks into the bar, who at the time is a little over 6 feet tall, 200 pounds, carrying a hatchet. And she had been doing these things called hatchetings all over the country, where she'd walk into a bar and just tear the shit out of it. She was very angry.
What a bitch.
Yeah.
What did she have up her ass?
Well, a couple alcoholic ex-husbands and just, it's just a trail of tears, right?
Yeah.
So
I bet they were real nice back then. Yeah.
So she's on the leading edge of making sure booze is off the table. And the point of this show is to say, okay, there's a moment where John Sullivan, bare knuckle boxing champion, is running for his life from a lunatic with a hatchet who's tearing up his bar. And had that not happened, we don't go to the moon.
All right. Now you got to figure out how that connects.
Exactly. And so the show really becomes a look at a series of seemingly disparate events that ultimately push us to the moon.
Did somebody in that bar run out? And was there a woman who was like going to go home, but she got scared in the locker room, so she fucked this guy, Frank Armstrong?
It's like you've seen the show.
Frank Armstrong. She got all hammered.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but it's just one of those. It's an old formula, but you make a crazy claim. And everybody looks at you and they go, no, that's not possible. And then 10 minutes later, they're going, that might be possible. And then 20, you're like, oh, you know what? I can see how this could happen.
You connected the dots.
Yeah, because, thanks.
But is it an accurate connection or is it like 6 degrees of separation?
That's not possible.
No, it's totally accurate. If it were most any other station, we could probably make stuff up, but Discovery is still clinging to that idea that no, it's the truth,
right?
And the truth it is, So Carrie Nation gets you to temperance. Temperance goes to prohibition. Billions are made in illegal booze. One of the guys who made all that money is Joe Kennedy Sr.
Yeah.
Joe Kennedy Sr. has John Kennedy Wade leads on to Way. He gets him elected. West Virginia, swing state.
And the end of this decade, we will go to the moon and do those other things.
And there you go.
Bloody, blah. Wow, yeah, okay.
We were just talking about Joe Kennedy and booze.
Yeah, you must know a lot about that whole situation.
I just told you everything.
Yeah, that's pretty much. That's Joe Kennedy. Something about some booze.
That is something.
I mean, I read a book. I can read it for you if you like.
Oh, yeah. Why don't we have him read a book?
How do we know that?
Is there audio of that? I would love to listen to you guys in your uncomfortable silence.
Oh, it's just a right.
Did you feel like you were going to get whacked if you actually said something?
That's what
It was
happened.
uncomfortable because of who her father was. I mean, even though you knew he was dead, but still.
She was interesting
She was
for a
nice,
while,
too.
but then it was obvious it was time for her to go, and none of us knew how to do it.
Yeah.
And we've been doing this a long time. Trust me, we know how to do it usually.
Yeah.
It was just a weird
2.
day, man.
Yeah. Well, she was really, I mean, she was selling it in that way that, you know, how it gets very personal in here sometimes. And she was looking at you.
Yeah,
I mean, she was like looking right across this monitor.
Yeah.
And suddenly I felt just listening like I had stumbled into, I don't know, like an inappropriate biography or like the reading of somebody's will. And I'm not in the will and I shouldn't be in the room. And,
But, but in all fairness, like, you didn't know how to leave.
I didn't.
Because I think you did want to go. You know what? It's obvious they're not getting back to me anytime soon. Actually, no one's going to be talking for the next half hour, but you didn't know how to sneak out.
Well, there's always protocol, right? Or if nothing else matters. And I'm like, I don't know how to, I don't know how to get the hell out of here.
It was a weird day.
It was funny.
How do we know that the Mayflower landed in Plymouth because they ran out of beer?
William Bradford was the diarist on the Mayflower, and he wrote extensively about it. We are much spent, especially our victuals and our beer. But back in 1620,
it's a text I just sent to Ange, who takes care of my kegs.
Yes, you need more fiddle.
They were also probably exhausted from the trip over. Like, fuck Virginia, there's some land.
This is good enough.
Let's
pull over.
I mean, you've got to remember too the whole idea of, you know, I mean, today we don't even think about it. I mean, they didn't have longitude back then, right? So you don't know exactly where you're going anyway. There's no GPS. You have no idea when you're landing.
How the fuck do they even figure that out?
The courage that took back then.
Sure.
Balls.
You take it for granted now, but
that's a whole nother story. Finding longitude is the single biggest mathematical riddle ever solved, and it was a multi-million-dollar prize.
Well, they had to give the people a lot of latitude to find that longitude.
Hey now.
Following that. That was a good one.
Chip is like,
Anthony
that's
Durante.
a good one.
Paging Victoria Gotti.
A latitude and longitude.
how did they figure that out?
Ultimately, I mean, back then it was all the celestial clock, you know, so if it were cloudy, you just didn't know anything. But a guy named John Harrison invented a better watch, a watch that could actually keep time on a boat. And until then, they were all pendulum clocks. You put a pendulum clock on the deck of a heaving ship, you know, forget it.
Yes.
But eventually, it was Harrison's invention that figured out longitude.
So I saw them trying to sell one of those on Pawn Stars, of course, different network. I'm sorry, but they were trying to sell one of those. Somebody came in trying to sell one of those clocks.
Yeah.
And
it was a fraud.
It was like, no, it was real, and he wanted like $10,000 for it, and I think they offered him like $300. Well, he's got to leave it in his shop. He's got to make some money. I don't know. It's got to be framed.
Takes forever
it's got to
to
be
wind
refurbished. Yeah, it takes the work to wind it. I'll give you $300, and then the guy took $500 for it and went, I'm going to take my wife out to dinner here in Vegas. Every episode.
Every episode.
It's every episode.
Yeah, and he goes like, what do you want for that? $5,000. And then he goes, what do you really want for that? He's like, stop and laugh. And then that's it. And then they go, $40.
I'll take
How about
it.
29?
29.
39,
and
he goes,
selling.
And he goes 29, and he always wins, and it makes me mad after a while. Like I just want somebody. I want somebody to
call him out on it.
I want somebody to get something that's even remotely worth what they're bringing in there.
Do they walk out ever with their items? Do they ever just go fuck this thing?
There are people that walk out, and
Does he ever give in?
They look more pathetic than anybody else on the show. Even the people that sell it for too cheap. The people that walk out, okay, I'm just taking this and leaving the pawn store.
You think they got to interview them after they got raped? Well, you know, I got 18% of what I wanted.
They do. They say that. I like the guys that walk out because I'd like to know how often they come back in a little while later because they realize, I can't gamble with this.
It's like, let's make a deal meets the People's Court, right? With Doug Llewellyn's waiting outside. What did you think of going there? Like, honestly, it wasn't pleasant.
I always hated his upper lip. Doug Llewellyn. Oh, what a terrible upper lip. It was just non-existent.
Yeah, he didn't
never
have one.
noticed.
No, really ruined the show for me.
Mike, how many of those car commercials did you film?
How deep is the ocean?
Holy fuck!
How high is the sky?
And I asked
300. I think about 340 actually.
Jesus.
Commercials?
Christ.
Yeah, for
man.
I don't want to
Ford.
get Ford.
You just don't just say, wow, go buy an island and
Still here, still in business. Come on in.
That's got to be lucrative. 300 commercials for
300 nationals? Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
How many a day?
Okay. We got when I started working with them, the old model was 1 or 2 a day. Right. I mean, we did a spot for the Super Bowl back in 2004 that took 2 days to shoot a 30-second spot. 5 years later, we were doing 20 spots in 1 day.
Wow. Did you get better, or did they get more efficient, or both?
I haven't gotten better at anything in a long time, honestly. But what happened was we just had a big conversation about just, I mean, this sounds kind of glib, but just telling the truth, and the truth of dirty jobs, which all that is based on, is no second takes. We just never do a second take, and the people are genuine. And it's like, look, you guys hired me because you like this show, and if you like this show and we want to try and do a thing over here, maybe what we ought to do is the same basic thing we do in the show, and then that way, there would be sense in the world, right? And I'm like, well, we'll try it. And so we actually shot closer to 40. They were looking to use 3 or 4, but they used 20, and that changed the whole model. And so then we were just able to really just approach the whole thing a lot.
Into only doing 1 take. That's the most brilliant thing ever. This shooting it from 90 different angles and I'm there all day. Why don't we just do it once? Because we do it honest.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
That is good.
But look, everybody in this room knows the honest answer to the question. Does it really get better by take 3 or 4?
Usually the first 1 or 2.
1 or 2, right? Give the camera guy a chance on take 2 if you're going to do it. Mm-hmm. But performance-wise, I've never seen it get better.
I find myself, honestly, much better after take 3 or 4, for real.
Really?
I'm terrible in the first couple of takes.
Yeah, but what about everybody else in the scene?
That's a good point. That's why I shine, Mike. They take my take 4 and they put it with your take 1.
One more.
You get more recognized from the Ford commercials or dirty jobs? At this point,
it's a toss-up.
It really is. Huh?
I think the one smart thing I did, which was again completely by accident, I made him let me wear this stupid hat. All right, so
is that the famous hat?
This is the hat. I've got 600 of them.
So you have to do the reverse. If you don't want to get recognized, you just take the hat off.
I take the hat off. I swear to God, it's true.
Yeah, but as long as you don't talk.
Right.
Right. He's got that recognizable voice, that deep voice.
Soothing voice.
Yeah, it just sounds honest and comforting.
Yes.
It just makes you want to buy Ford. I would think. No, you know what? It's I started wearing a hat because I can't stand the whole makeup hair thing on sets or anything else, and it covers like a multitude of sins.
Right.
And then on dirty jobs, it was just double practical because there was always shit falling on your head. So it's like hats, good idea. And then with the commercial stuff, I just said honestly, I mean, you did hire me, right? Because you know me and you want people to know me. Yes. Well, this is what I look like. So that was like the second big, but it was 2 big barriers.
So no makeup
and
1 take.
No hair, no makeup.
1 take. Right.
And when you think about it, a lot of people look like me. So if you put somebody else out there,
no one's going to know.
And I just do the voiceover from my house in my pajamas.
Simple.
That'll be the.
It's really pretty simple.
He never even has to show up.
That's the greatest negotiating ever.
Can you negotiate our new deal, please?
Yeah,
we need someone like you.
Who's
kidding?
Need
someone with the logic.
None of us want to be here.
Yeah.
Don't we all just want the money?
Yes.
Yeah.
None of us really want to do the work.
Let's just exchange the cash and walk away.
I think the car sells itself. I'll walk by counting the money.
Like whiskey on the frontier.
Yeah. You doing Deadliest Catch?
Deadliest Catch is still around, yeah.
Yeah, and you figured out a way to get in there, and you talked to the guys, I guess, after. Is it after a season?
It's called After the Catch, and it started as kind of a, what if we just did this? Because I'd always said about the show, as a fan, what people really want to do is sit down with these guys over a beer and just ask them anything they want. Right? I mean, pretty much like we're doing
when they're
now.
not the pressure of...
with like 40-foot swells coming over the wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And so we said, okay, let's try that. And so, and the first year we went up to a bar in, I think it was called the Lock Spot, maybe up in Seattle. So it's 6 crab boat captains and me in this smoky bar around this round table. It's basically Charlie Rose with cigarettes and whiskey.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And of course, these guys are these guys are the real deal. They are themselves.
That's when you really notice it in that bar atmosphere, that little just sitting there and drinking, because they all come off like really great guys, but you can't relate to that lifestyle as far as being on a fishing boat and taking a life into your hands. But you can relate to sitting at a bar. Yeah. And these are guys that I think we've all sat at bars with at some point in our life.
The crazy thing for me was about 3-4 years ago when Phil died. Captain of the Cornelia Marie. I got maybe 10,000 letters. And I wrote his eulogy and posted it and got crashed my server, And I knew people liked him, and I knew the show was a thing. But what I didn't realize, I mean, really practically, was how relatable they are on a totally different level that you never think about. Like, Phil's the captain of a crab boat. He's got 2 kids. His kids have troubles. His crew gives him troubles. And you never think about it in terms of at home, some guy's watching who maybe works on a construction site, or maybe he's a school teacher. But everything that happens on the crab boat becomes like a microcosm for what's going on in his world. And that weird sort of connection is real. And when it was suddenly broken, it was shocking how many people reached out. So that's still there, and I think that's why people still watch the show.
Yeah, that was a weird thing, man, because it's like, oh, you killed off a character on the show. No, he really died.
Did he die at work, or did he die at home?
He died at work, but he died in such the most heart-stopping, mundane. He had an aneurysm, basically, right? He had a blood clot, an embolism, I mean. And it took him slow. I mean, he went down, he came back, they went to the hospital, and suddenly we're shooting a scene, in a Dutch Harbor hospital where he's saying goodbye to his boy and goodbye to the cameraman. And then goodbye. And it's like fade to black, and suddenly, you're right. We got letters from like, okay, man, that was an amazing episode. So when's he coming back? That people literally are so used to watching TV as, the scripted thing we know. All of a sudden something like that happens. It's just, it takes people a while to get their head around it.
Yeah. So he knew he was dying in that moment.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, did he smoke a lot of cigarettes.
First time I met Phil, he had a cigarette. I swear this is true. He had a cigarette in his right hand. He had a cigarette behind his ear that was burning. Okay. He had a cigarette on his compass. Now, to be fair, they're 30-foot way. There's green water coming over the bow, so things are very, very sporty. So he's got 4 cigarettes going in and around the wheelhouse, and I walked in, and he says, "Hey, Mike, how's it going?" And he takes a cigarette out of his mouth, puts it down, puts another fresh one in, and lights it for reasons I can't even. He's not even thinking. He's He's just moving, lighting, smoking, working, praying.
Yep. Every season just seems to get more treacherous. You would think that, I don't know, it would kind of lose its danger element, but again, it's so real that I was watching that ice, those chunks of ice coming down and hitting those guys.
Right.
I mean, that, like boulders of solid ice falling on people on the deck.
Why doesn't somebody who owns a crab company just buy a fucking battleship and use that?
An ice cutter? We've done it.
Yeah, buy like a destroyer. Just go out with a bunch of nets.
It really is. I don't think anybody.
Fuck the crabs.
I don't think anybody that's a fan of the show, of that show, sits down and eats crab legs anymore without thinking like someone really bet their life on this.
There's no doubt about it.
There's no, you could never. I freak out if I take a ferry. I'm dead serious. I am deathly afraid.
They are getting thrown around. Oh, the most openest water. It's freezing cold, and they're being thrown around. A calm day to them would be a nightmare to anybody on a pleasure boat. Yeah. And that to them is like, oh, it's a great day for fishing. And then the horrible days when they had that hurricane up there, that was insanity to watch. I'm like, this can't.
No,
someone's going to die.
The thing, it's at night when they're fishing at night and the water is black, and it's like if you go in, that is it.
You know what else does it?
It's drowning would be the easiest.
Yes.
Yeah. It's those work lights. It's those sodium lights that they use, and they create this weird, like this orange bubble around the ship. So when you shoot one of the boats from a distance and you see the sleet and the snow and the rain and everything else coming in horizontal while these guys are working in big seas, it bathed in this weird, crappy orange thing. It doesn't it looks hellish.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it is.
You imagine if the Crabs had cameras, what their show would be? Like, you know, they're just going for a snack and it's just a mass murder.
Crab Holocaust,
yeah.
really.
Yeah, they have their own show about
That's
this.
what it's called.
Murder from above.
It's don't go in the cage, man. Don't go in the cage. But there's food in the cage. Don't go in the cage.
Liberal crabs blaming each other.
Well, this entitlement society thinks that food should be left in a cage.
If we didn't look so delicious, man.
Yeah.
And who would have thought you could get a show even without the element of the danger and the personalities and everything that makes the show so great? There's that point where they're bringing up that pot, that crab pot, and you're going, did they hit a spot? Is that going to be full? You're wondering, and then it comes up empty. You're like, shit, he didn't get it.
How far down to the pots go?
Amazing.
They can go anywhere from 200 to 600 feet sometimes. You know, it's really very shallow water where the crab grounds are, and then you'll have these drops that'll go for who knows how long. But no, finding the crab, it's an Easter egg hunt. But you're right, Anthony. When I narrate that thing, you know, I mean, you'll do 4 or 5 in a row sometimes, and you know, you get a little loopy. But really, from a clinical standpoint, the show could be called, you know, what's in the pot?
Yeah.
You know, because each scene is like, what's in a pot? Crab, no crab. Crab, no crab. It's crab. Uh-oh, big wave. Run for your lives. Big wave. What's in a pot? Crab, no crab. Crab, no crab. It's so freaking cold out here. What's in a pot? Crab, no crab. So, I mean, it's
New guy doesn't know what he's doing.
New guy. Idiot, moron. Oh, there goes the thumb. What's in the pot? Crab, no crab.
That's the show.
It's the show. But people watch because you never ever know. It's like any game show with any reveal, right?
Yeah.
What's behind the curtain? What's in the box? You know, what's in the box?
Dude, is it any wonder you have all these shows? Like, this is like you just describing the show is better than any pitch I've ever done. He gets right to it. It's like a game show. Everybody wins. We do one take.
What's in a pot? Here it is.
There's no makeup. Wear a hat. Everybody's happy.
We're all gonna make money.
I want them to call it crab or no crab now.
After a pitch.
Yeah.
And you know, after the season, I just want to sit down with all these guys and drink.
Can we
you
make
put
a
a
show
camera
of that?
on it, and that'll be another show.
Because they can relate. As much as they don't fish, you know, you hit your head and, you know, you're trying to hammer up, you know, a poster, and you hit your thumb. That hurts. It hurts when you get dragged overboard. We all just hang out. Who doesn't like whiskey? One take, my hat. Let's do this.
He doesn't have to leave the bar now.
There's a show.
Jesus, guys, this Mike Rowe's brilliant.
He really is.
Just do an establishing shot when that I'm there, and then I'll leave, and I'll just do the voiceover. I mean, people don't want to see me; they want to see these fishermen.
Those guys aren't.
Your show.
Those guys would be the last people you would think could handle celebrity in any way, shape, or form, because they are kind of these really rugged, kind of get the job done guys. How do they? Like, you get guys like Sig is a fucking star.
Well, what happens is there's like a tipping point in all of our lives, right? When we realize, you know, maybe our reach exceeded our grasp just a little bit. You know, it always happens. But with these guys, it's been fascinating to watch because it's not just like the boats on the show. That's not the fleet. There are 130 boats in the fleet, right? So you've got 6 boats that we focus on. So you've got to imagine up in Dutch Harbor, from the Pribilofs all the way over to Akutan, you know, these guys, they're a part of a community. And so there's a dynamic within the community of which they're a part that they've got to wrangle. And that, you know, it's like you guys going back to your high school reunion, right?
Yeah,
and everybody's like,
yeah.
so Anthony, how's it going? You know, I think you know how it's going, okay? It's good.
Not too shabby.
It's not bad.
Actually.
So
they come into the harbor and then there's like, here come the fucking
here
stars.
comes Hollywood. So they got to deal with that. But now down here, like in the lower 48,
I love that.
In the real
That's
world.
a show, by the way. That's another show, Mike.
Deadliest Catch, the resentment.
That's another show. Here comes Hollywood.
I catch flounder. I don't have balls. That's right. I mean, water's water. Oh, get him some more makeup, Mary. It's got to be what.
Here comes Hollywood.
It's exactly right. But here,
That's great.
I've been with those guys in half a dozen really nice hotels in Manhattan.
Oh, no.
And what happens is, look, in real life, they are the best. But in hyper life, like nobody ever told a crab captain, in season 2 of a hit show in 180 countries, this is what they expect you to do in the lobby of the Mondrian. Okay? So just note to self, do these things. But here's also a brief list we've put together of things not to do. Okay? Yeah. That doesn't happen. So it's almost like that, like a reverse halo effect, right? Where people see you, they want to buy you. They expect now that the job is to live up to the hugeness with which people like you and me would look at them and go, wow, it's SIG. Be SIG. Yeah. And what that means is smashing somebody over the head, drinking a pint of Drambuie and, working for 4 days straight. He doesn't want to do that. He just wants to have a shrimp cocktail and, maybe tell a story. But they've gotten really good at it. They've figured it out. But seasons 1 and 2, ooh.
180 countries
brutal.
is on?
Yeah.
180, wow.
It's a huge show,
Yeah, Discovery, Dirty Jobs, Deadliest Catch. Most of their premiere shows are in 180 some countries.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's ridiculous. Dirty Jobs aired when it was really in its wheelhouse, like in 06 and 07, 08, 700 times a year. In this country. Literally
a lot of people
once a day.
Looking at you.
In a stupid
pig
hat.
shit and grease and
making a poop joke.
Yeah. One of the worst, because I guess the claustrophobia that you've been in is that door on that. It was almost like a lock, I think, or something, and you had to go into these little compartments to grease that shit.
I got
clean it up.
Something worse just happened to me in Australia. You're talking about a hurricane barrier.
Yes, that was the one
in Stanford, right? It comes up. Right, it blocks the harbor in a storm surge.
Get inside of it.
There's just like dozens of these little steel coffins that men have to crawl in and paint, and then scrape off all of the barnacles and put on zinc diodes. It's a horrible job. But in Coober Pedy, Australia, a couple of months ago, we took the show down under, and I know you're a claustrophobic sort of guy. You'll love this. Opal mining. Have you ever seen anybody mine for opal before?
No, I can't say I have.
Here's a short version. It's not like gold mining. It's not like bituminous coal. It's not like anthracite. It's not like any other kind of mining you've seen. It's you dig a hole, a shaft, really. So picture a manhole cover, about 80 feet deep. You use an old Caldwell drill to get all the stuff out of here. And then they sit you on a 2x4, like a bosun's chair, and they lower you into this hole. And you're looking for faults and fissures in the rock. Opals live between sandstone and soapstone, right? And if you find this little fissure,
I was going to say that. Sorry, go ahead. Continue.
So if you find a fissure, all right, then you drill another shaft, and when you're comfortable enough, you go in with big equipment and dig a whole cavern out. But the point is, you can't do any of this until you go to the bottom of an 80-foot shaft, and your shoulders literally are touching the sides, right? Shit. So if you were like an inch tall in the bottom of a Coke bottle, that's what it's like. Only you're looking up, and remember the movie with the girl in the well? What's it called? The Ring?
The Ring, yeah.
Silence of the Lambs?
No, the ring.
The girl's
ring.
in the well, and she looks up. Man, it's so much worse than
Why
that.
not make the hole bigger?
Yeah, make the hole bigger.
That's a good point.
Why
make
not?
a bigger drill.
Because the drill's this big, and the more comfortable you are, the slower you work. The slower you work, the poorer you are. The poorer you are, the more pathetic you become.
There you go. The answer.
So go faster.
Faster, smaller hole.
So what are some of the horrible things that have happened? The rope snaps. Now you're down there.
Oh man!
No.
We only had budget for one rope.
They just filled the hole there.
That does happen, but what's worse, and this happens all the time, because in Coober Pedy, which is South Central Outback, there's no MSHA, there's no OSHA, there's nothing, right? So these holes, there are thousands of them.
Oh shit!
There are thousands of them.
But they just leave them.
They just leave them. Okay, so every year, some tourist will go out there, with their camera and back up into one.
Oh, man.
And they'll find them a season or two later.
Oh, there goes another American.
Do they at least die on the fall?
No, because even though it's a long fall, you got this effect.
Oh,
it's
like bouncing off the walls
bouncing
a
off
bit.
the walls.
Well, so no, nice.
But the hard would be falling falling in head first, right? Because you don't have enough room
to turn around.
So you spend literally your last 5 days of consciousness.
Head.
Maybe with a broken back, you're on your head upside down, 90 feet underground.
Have they found people like that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And kangaroos and emus and ostriches.
Wallabies.
Wallabies, sure that air.
You know, what'd be worse is if you fell down. Even if you fall down there, if somebody's going to drop a bottle of water down there, it's going 80 feet. It's going to hit like terminal velocity, smash you in the head.
You know what these assholes do? They'll pee on you, on their friends when they're down there looking.
Oh,
guys are just coming. Hey, it's raining. It's raining. Oh, we're funny.
Those Aussies are hilarious like that.
That's
humor.
Good fun.
You've probably been to pretty much every country in the world.
Yeah. No, I mean 6 continents, 50 states, most of the major countries, but no, not all of them.
What about the Dark Continent?
I've been to the Dark Continent.
You've been there, yeah?
It's dark.
What'd you have to do there?
We went to, Johannesburg, and then down to Cape Town for Shark Week back in 2006.
Oh, right. Okay.
And then I went to the Western Desert to explore the Sands of the Dead, which is the largest charted graveyard in human history, with Zahi Hawass to plunder tombs in search of golden masks.
Do you get bored at parties when people try to tell you a story? When you're sitting on all of these stories, like, I was in Long Island the other day. Oh, Jesus.
Trying to figure out which one you want to tell that night because there's so many.
Yeah. Do I go with the shark cage one or the falling down the 80-foot hole and getting peed on?
Yeah.
I'm not feeling like
when in doubt, go with the getting peed. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you got to laugh.
So what about the desert?
So the desert, this was years ago for Discovery, but somebody, some goat farmer in the middle of nowhere stumbled across a hole which led into a grave, and being an enterprising goat herder, he raided the tomb, and opening the sarcophagi, he found the remains of whatever, but there was a golden mask where the face would be, and so this suggested some kind of royalty. But nobody had any record of any royalty ever being in that part of the Western Desert. And so they began to explore some more, found more tombs, more golden masks. So nobody knew what this was. It didn't line up with anything we knew about Egypt in that part of the time or world. And so I went over there with this archaeologist, and we did a thing called Egypt Week Live, and basically just fancy talk for tomb raiding. But
are you afraid of?
Now, does that guy get the goat herder? He found it. Does he gets to keep it?
He's never been seen again. I have no idea, actually. No,
probably the curse. Weren't you afraid of a curse? Boy, they got a lot of those curses over there.
I'm afraid of ringworm. I'm afraid of whooping.
Well, what happened when you did the tomb raiding?
Well, what happened was we found hundreds of them, and it was ultimately
Belloc stole every one of them from him. That's what happened.
Belloc's always there. No, it was basically Beverly Hills. What they found was this community was a community of very prosperous merchants, and in relative terms, it would be like finding Beverly Hills 5,000 years from now, and digging up through Rodeo Drive and going, what the heck? What was here?
Bunch of plastic bags. They used to be tits.
That's a great mystery.
What are these things?
Somebody explain this.
It's crazy. They're all over the place.
How far back?
Found in pairs.
How far back do these people go? Do they ever figure that out?
I don't know. Wow. I mean, honestly, I'm just sitting here listening to myself go on, and I don't ever want to be confused with an expert. I mean, you could fill a book with what I don't know. I know, I can get into a good story,
in this room,
I don't know.
You're an expert in this room.
Yeah. Have you ever been in a shark cage?
Oh, yeah.
Now, how safe are those? Because I went out to Nantucket for a vacation, and I absolutely terrified of the ocean and sharks, and for some dumb reason.
You went in?
No, the captain was talking me into going, it's totally safe, blah, 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 this stuff. So is it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, a shark cage is fine. Most people get hurt in cages, because they take their camera and they put it outside the cage, because they want to get a shot, but they don't want the bars in the way.
Rather than using the zoom.
Yeah, because people aren't bright. And then something will come by and snag them.
You can say what?
People get hurt.
A shark?
Well, it's not necessarily a shark. It could be anything. But cages are dangerous because they create an illusion of complete safety, and then you become really complacent, and that's where you get hurt.
Footage where the shark got into the cage.
Oh, yeah.
With 2 guys in there. The shark just ran through. They had taken one of the bars out to get a better view with the camera. Shark, and it was a big one, probably a 13, 15-footer, slams into this opening in the cage.
25.
He's 25. And he was in the cage with these guys flailing.
Holy shit.
And the guy ducks down. One of them realized, when his head turned the other way, he went through another hall and got out and just left the other guy in there.
Yeah.
The other guy decided he would leave that cage. He got out.
It's the old story being chased by a bear, right? The guy says, you know how fast those bears run? Doesn't matter, man. I just got to run faster than you.
Yeah. That's it.
Mike's got to go. This sucks.
Shit.
They're telling us you got to go.
Who's not
us.
Gotti.
E-Rock said it.
So
Victoria Gotti is saying.
Huh?
Liam? Press.
You probably have a lot of shows to do around here today.
But this is my favorite.
You know what? I don't know.
I don't want to.
Yes, no in the shark cage. Safe?
So, safer than free diving with sharks. Don't do that. I mean, that's just ill-advised. Get in the cages. It's harmless. It's fun. But if they ever offer to put you in the steel mesh suit, the shark suit.
I would never do that.
Well, I did that. I got bit. I got bit about 40 times. One tooth got through. There's still a hole in my freaking shin bone from it.
How do you top these stories?
I know you don't.
Here's how you top it. Forget the sharks. It's not the shark. It's when you dive, and I've moderately experienced diver, but you got an extra 50 pounds on you, which screws up everything. You've got shark bouncing off your chest, which elevates your rate. I ran out of air at 65 feet on the test dive before Shark Week. And that was to this day, the scariest thing that's happened to me on this stupid show.
What'd you have to do?
How long did it take them to get you back up?
Well, what happened was I had 40 minutes of air. I burned through it in 29.
Wow.
Okay.
So you had to hold your breath for 11 minutes.
That's like that's like bombing, blowing through your material. Underwater.
Yeah, you're looking. You just did your closing bit. You're at 17. Good boy.
Well, it was totally humiliating. But there was a reporter there named Leon for TV Guide, international writer, and he was right next to me. And he looked at my my gauge, and he was like, "Uh-oh, up we go." And I was like, "Look, I'm never going to make it." My last breath was an exhale, you know. And so I wasn't wearing a normal regulator. He was, but I wasn't. I had a full face mask on.
Oh, man, so you can't.
And I had a bicycle helmet screwed into it because a week earlier, a shark had bit somebody in the back of the head, so the insurance company made me wear this bicycle helmet. So he can't get my
share
mask
a regulator
off.
with the guy because you got a mask on your face.
Now, I'm also out of air. All right, I got 40. I'm dressed up like freaking Ivanhoe. Okay, I'm dead weight. This guy grabs me, floods his BC, and the two of us kick as hard as we can, and we get to the surface. It takes about 80 seconds.
Holy shit.
But again, my last breath is an exhale.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh.
And so I lost my peripheral vision.
You started getting tunnel vision.
And I stopped caring, to tell you the truth.
Whoa.
Oh, that dopamine or something.
Oh,
it was just like, about 10 feet from the surface, I'm looking around going, all in all, I had a pretty good run.
This is going to be, my eulogy is going to be great. They'll play clips.
That's how we feel every day as we walk out of this building.
We had a pretty good run.
Holy shit. Wow.
Wow, that's a great story.
Brutal.
That's fucked up.
I'm so sorry I was late today. I got jacked up and got in the wrong damn car.
Well, you come back soon, man. We didn't really sell the new show, but it looks like it's going to be a good one.
Would you do it for me when I leave? I'm telling you, it's great.
Absolutely.
How Booze Built America premieres tomorrow at 10 p.m. on Discovery.
It sounds like a history show, but there's cross-dressing, there's bad language, juvenile humor, adult situations, and wall-to-wall drinking. Your listeners are going to love
Anthony show.
Perfect. Yes, described our show, I think.
Thanks, fellas. If
Mike,
you watch,
so much.
I won't have to go in another hole for a while, which is
Good
goal.
And Bill's at Caroline's this week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday too, and Sunday.
Oh, Jimmy.
212-757-4100.
I'll tell you, if I wasn't there, I would go out to Columbus to go see Jim Norton. 2 shows Friday.
And 3
Saturday.
3
on Saturday.
And you'd have plenty of place to stretch out if you came to my show.
shows.
Put your feet up on 2 open seats in the front.
Funny Bone, Columbus this
It's going to be
weekend.
packed. It's going to be packed.
All right, we're going home. Mike Rowe, thank you, brother.
Thanks, fellas.
Always a pleasure.
All right, later.